That's not something that we get from WWE. But AEW do give us a match card, so might as well jump into it whilst people are still joining us, still filing in. So I've got it all queued up, set up to go. Not the biggest match card, to be honest. Normally this graphic is like rammed and it's full, but not loads here this week. I'm expecting more than this, but these are the things that they are shouting about and they are promoting. I suppose in a way there's still a good 5 matches here, but we've got Britt Baker taking on Ruby Soho in the Owen Hart tournament. Owen Hart Foundation tournament, I should say. And that should be pretty cool. It's always good to see Britt Baker. I actually like Ruby Soho as well, so that looks great. I'm into that. Kenny Omega against Wheeler Yuta. I really enjoy Kenny singles matches. I've said before, when he's with the Bucks and he's doing trios or he's doing some kind of multi-man elite or whatever it might be, I don't seem to appreciate those as much or like or enjoy those as much as I do his singles matches. So again, bit of positivity. Looking forward to seeing him in singles action. So him against Wheeler Yuta should be good. We've got Blind Eliminator Tag Tournament Quarter Final. MJF and Adam Cole are going to be in action. So they are teaming together. They were drawn together. See if they can coexist. Classic wrestling. Can they coexist? Amazingly, and I don't know how this has happened, but Keith Lee and Swerve, they've been drawn together as well, which is crazy because they used to be partners. Then they split up, had a big fallout. Now they've been drawn together. I mean, it's just, what are the odds? What are the odds? So, but I really like that team. I really like Keith Lee and Swerve as a team. Their matches against the Acclaimed were legit some of my favorite matches of last year. So, as funny as it might be, they've been drawn back together again. They are a great team, and if they can get on the same page, they could win this tournament, and hopefully they could sort of stay as a team for a while. Because I'm not really into what Keith Lee's doing on his own at the moment. And I think Swerve's doing all right, to be honest. I don't think Swerve's doing too bad, but I really like this team. They're taking on Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, which, is pretty fun. That could be an all right match. Then we're going to hear from Chris Jericho, and we're going to hear from Jon Moxley as well. So, legitimately, I think there's some stuff there that looks pretty good. Keith Lee Swerve, looking forward to that. Kenny Omega singles match. Britt Baker and Ruby Soho. I think the MGF Adam Cole thing is just going to be them arguing, bickering. I don't even know. They might pull out the victory, but I've got to think this is probably just going to further their kind of singles match against each other. So, yeah, that's the match card for tonight. We can revisit that a little bit later when we get closer to the show starting, for those that maybe haven't joined us right as we've started. But that's how things are looking so far. Why are there a few matches today, says Miguel? I think there'll be more, to be honest, but that's just the only ones that they've announced so far. I don't know, actually, if that's a reflection of Collision, because obviously they have stacked those graphics before. And maybe it's a case that some matches that we would have got tonight have now been saved for Collision. And so that means that there's just less for them to shout about, which I don't think is too bad, to be honest. I don't necessarily need to know the full cards, but I just need to know what the big matches are. WWE do a little preview before Raw, before SmackDown, but that only tends to have 4 or 5 things on it, and some of those are just segments. With this graphic here, as you can see, I mean, I think there's 5 matches here and 2 segments as well. We're going to hear from Jericho, we're going to hear from Moxley, and this is one of the smaller graphics that we've had. So there's 7 things that have been announced here. So even this smaller graphic has still got quite a bit of stuff on it. But I don't know, maybe it's going to be that way going forward, and some of the stuff we would have seen on Dynamite will be moved to Collision going forwards. LS Dub, shout out to you. Omega is consistent in singles. Every match is a spectacle. LS Dub, shout out to you. I hope you are well. What do you think about Collision ratings dropping again? Said Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I wasn't too surprised. I don't think too many people would have been that surprised. I think that the first episode, just judging by Rampage, for example. So Rampage did, I think it was 1.2 million for CM Punk coming back, right? Of course, it did a big number. But consistently, that has really dropped to like 500,000 kind of range. So, we got that big, massive spike, that big, massive jump. And for like the debut episode, I can't remember if Punk was the first or the second episode. But either way, we've seen a big decline since then. And with this, obviously, we saw a number that it started with, which was in the 800,000s. We knew that would drop. Like, there's something very special about the first show. People want to know what they've got planned, what superstars are planned, what surprises are planned, what the show looks like, how it's produced. Is it any different to Dynamite? What's the ring look like? What's the stage look like? What's the ropes look like? What's the graphics? How does that look? What's the color scheme? Has it got its own roster? Is there going to be any big announcements? Blah, 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 blah. The first episode is always going to grab, the debut episode is always going to grab the most attention. I think I'm right in saying that Dynamite's debut episode is still its biggest rating. I believe that came through at like a 1.3, some at 1.4. So I think that's still Dynamite's biggest number as well. So yeah, the fact that we did 800,000, I think we knew that was going to drop like a stone for the second week, and it did. And it went down to 595. And then people were like, well, what's it going to do when it goes up against a pay-per-view, a WWE pay-per-view, which it will do once a month. And what I thought was really interesting is I think we can all agree that it would drop further when it goes up against a WWE premium live event, right? I think what was interesting about this was the fact that it was not on at the same time, though. And that is something that I'm not seeing too many people talking about. My understanding is that because Money in the Bank was in the UK, that finished just before Collision started. So it was possible to catch both. What a lot of people have been saying online, though, is that people watched Money in the Bank and they were burnt out. They had their wrestling fill. And so that's why they didn't watch Collision, which, I mean, yeah, absolutely, there could be some truth to that. But if you was an AEW fan, you would still watch AEW, right? Certainly when there was no need to choose. Maybe the truth was could also have been that people because obviously on a Saturday you got jobs to do. People go to work, like do office jobs Monday to Friday. It means you've only got Saturday and Sunday to do things around the house or whatever, right? Could it be that some people put off doing those things for Money in the Bank and then did them later whilst Collision was on? And so, the Money in the Bank was their downtime. And then afterwards, they had to do, a few jobs, a few tasks. And that meant that they had to choose. That could also be true as well. So the only thing I would say is that I don't know that we've seen a real number from AEW Collision where it's actually gone head to head. So it declined to about 450 from 595. But what I would say is that could be even worse. Like, that might be even worse when it actually goes head to head with a WWE Premium Live event. We might be going down to like 300 some thousands when it has to go like head to head. I mean, maybe you might get people sat in front of the TV that might flick the channels. Maybe we get something like that. So, that's going to be very interesting to see if people are going to do that. Are people going to sit there and watch the pay-per-view and also maybe have Collision on at the same time? It's hard to know. It's really hard to know. Is what happened on Saturday the worst thing that could happen for AEW? And that's actually not it being on at the same time, but being on earlier, because then you're forcing people to commit to a whole day of wrestling, and maybe people just don't want to do that. Where if it was on at the same time, then people have got the option of watching it at the same time or flicking channels. Maybe, I don't know, it's going to be really interesting. My gut feeling is if it's on at the same time, like, that can't be a great thing for Collision. I can't imagine that people are going to be stepping away from a pay-per-view. I suppose they could watch at the same time, though. The flicking of the channels, I don't know. People used to do that during the Attitude Era. There was plenty of people that were going from Raw to Nitro. But in this day and age, with the amount of devices that people have got, laptops, tablets, mobile phones, TVs in bedrooms, all this kind of stuff, like having two screens on at the same time, it's not really something people were doing in the late 90s. Like, you was pretty well off if you had two TVs. And you was like, because mobile phones weren't capable of doing that stuff. Tablets weren't capable. It was a case of changing channels. But in this day and age, I suppose you could get away with two screens. So it's going to be really interesting. It's really interesting as to when it goes head to head, what do the numbers look like now? Maybe this is worst case scenario. Maybe this is the worst thing that could have happened, is that people have got to now conflict channels and they've got to commit to a whole day of wrestling. So, but yeah, not surprised that it dropped. I don't think there was much surprise on social media. I think that it probably dropped about in line with what we was expecting. Actually, if anything, maybe it did a little better than I was expecting. But yeah, obviously something that AEW are going to have to keep a very close eye on, because they're not going to want that going down much further. Someone mentioned to me before that the film that was shown in that time slot before did 300 to 400,000. So the fact that they're still above that 400,000 range strikes me as a slight positive, right? It's very difficult to know. I've said this before. People on Twitter will have already made their mind up that this should be doing 1 million, right? They will have already made their mind up that if this doesn't do 1 million, then it's a flop. But if you are a little more educated with your views and your opinions, you'll know that just pulling a number out of thin air is just not the right way forwards. And so you kind of need to know what was in that time slot before. That might give you an indication as to what the expectation is. And the films that were being shown in that time slot did 300 to 400,000. So they are still above that. They are still above, not by a great deal, but currently they are still above that. So I've got to think that that's a positive. They're not doing worse than what was there before. And, you know, I think about things like Power Slap as well, which was Dana White and UFC, and it was being heavily promoted, and that was doing less than 300,000. Granted, that was on a Wednesday night straight after Dynamite, but even so, you know, this is the kind of numbers that we're seeing that channel kind of come out with, that kind of 300, 400,000 range. So again, I would say things are, I wouldn't say amazing. I would say okay, steady, like, but you really, I don't think you want to go down much further than this. So it's going to be very interesting to see what this Saturday's numbers are, because this Saturday you've actually got a UFC pay-per-view, and it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of crossover is there between wrestling fans and UFC fans, because UFC, it's a big show. It's their big show. We're doing it this weekend. I've actually got a jobs list in front of me of things I need to sort, and that's one of them. Like, get my research done, get the stream set up. UFC 290. This it's their big summer show, and that potentially could really hurt them. But again, I go back to what I just said. Will we just see some flicking of the channels? Will it be a case that people sit down to watch UFC, and whilst the fight's not on, I'll just check out Collision, see what's happening with Collision? So this weekend will be interesting, see if it bounces back. Mitchell, shout out to you, my friend. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate the support. I hope you're well. Had to go to a wedding on Saturday, then 4th of July stuff. Plus, was in return, got my girlfriend to watch Money in the Bank. It's insane how into the bloodline she has got. It's such a soap opera, and I hope you've been well. Same to you, buds. Yeah, really good, thank you. You've missed a bit of a mental time, to be honest, because obviously we did Wrestling Shop Live. We did a couple of streams, community members jumping on, which was awesome. So we did all of that. Obviously, Money in the Bank. We got back for SmackDown. SmackDown was a nightmare. Money in the Bank was amazing. Had so much fun with that. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been pretty crazy over like the weekends. I feel like we're just now starting to come out of it. Only just now. I mean, like, because the Raw obviously was heavily connected. NXT, I mean, they've just done a great job of setting stuff up, you know. NXT, we knew that NXT Underground was coming. We knew there was a loser leaves match as well. So last night's NXT was super engrossing. And enjoyed it. And so now we move on to AEW. And to be honest, you know, I've had a little break from AEW because I haven't been watching Collision. And last Wednesday, right now, I was on my way to London. I went down on the Wednesday. And I was in London on the Thursday, Friday, came back Friday night. So it's actually been a week since I left here to go to London. And so I sadly didn't get a chance to watch Dynamite. I tried to catch up with some of the results, but I can't remember them now. I can't remember them off the top. There's been so much that's happened in the past 7 days. So, yeah, it's you know, it'll be interesting to tune in. And as we said, legitimately, I think there's some stuff tonight which looks pretty good. So, Mitchell, shout out to you, my friends. Massively appreciate the support, but you know that. Matthew Nom Chong, shout out to you, my friend. And Mr. Hensey, who has been a member for 32 months. 32. I mean, that is mental, isn't it? That is mental. So once you get to 36 months, that will be 3 years of support in the channel. That is mental. So, Mr. Hensey, shout out to you. Hasib said, this might be a stupid question. I doubt that, Hasib. I doubt that. Do you think AEW should separate their storylines across the 3 shows? Someone like you can get lost in the storylines. At least with WWE, you can choose the stories. Now, that's not a stupid question in the slightest. I think that I think that you should do a bit of both, to be honest. Reason why I say that is because I think even WWE do a bit of both. You want to have stories that are specific to Dynamite so that you can tune in every week on Dynamite and follow that story. And you want to do the exact same with Collision. But equally, I think you could probably do with some stories that means if you are really into AEW and you are watching and consuming all of the shows, that you are rewarded as well, in the sense of there is a story that kind of goes over across both shows. Doesn't have to be much, but for example, in WWE, we know that the women's tag belts can be defended on any of the brands. So that means that we see the women's tag champs go in to Raw, going to SmackDown. They will go down to NXT, engaging in little stories as they're going. Sometimes we can see some of those stories kind of playing out across the both brands. We've seen it with the Bloodline as well last year, where the Bloodline will make it. I mean, for example, there was the Bloodline story. There was 1 week where Sammy was like in the Bloodline and like everything was fine. And then on Raw, I think they did the trial of Sammy. And that was not SmackDown. That was Raw. That was Raw 30, I believe. And it was a big segment, and it had big repercussions for the story, because you might remember that Sammy was almost out, and Roman said to Sammy, "I don't want to see you around." And so if you hadn't seen that, like that, you know, if you only watched SmackDown, that had an impact on the story. But WWE are good at like bringing you back up to speed. I mean, if WWE can throw a video package and shove it in your face, they will find a way of doing it. They love video package. I think they love video packages as much as they love money, right? If they can throw recaps and video packages at you, they absolutely will, right? Replays. Oh, they love a good replay. They used to love a good rematch, but we don't do that so much now. But yeah, I think there are things like the Bloodline story. There are things like the women's tag belts, obviously the men's tag titles as well. We were seeing the Usos going between the two shows. These aren't necessarily like major things that are going to frustrate you or anything. I think you've just got to make sure that you do a good job of just bringing people up to speed that might not have seen what happened on the other show. But then, yes, you do have some stories like, say, Judgment Day. Or what you're doing with the women's titles, for example, that are brand specific then. They are brand specific. So I think there is a place to have a mixture so that you're keeping things fresh. You see, people get very upset with the brand split not being like a 100% brand split. That's never massively bothered me. It's never bothered me. Like, the people saying, what's the point in doing a brand split? Well, 90% of the roster is based, in fact, maybe more than that, is based on a certain brand. If you are a fan of someone, you know what show they're going to be on. Like, I know that I'm not going to see Gunther on Friday, or I've got no expectation of seeing Gunther on Friday because he's on Raw, right? So the brand split is so that you know where your favorite superstars are largely going to be. Now, if once in a blue moon Gunther appears on SmackDown because they want to do some sort of angle or they want to do some sort of match or whatever, it's not something that upsets me. I don't get like annoyed or emotional about it, but I do see people on Twitter and do see people online getting upset about those things. So yeah, for me, like it's difficult. I feel like you could do the same. I would do a bit of a brand split. I would have Dynamite roster. I would have Collision roster. But equally, it's not a hard line in the sand. For me, it's like if CM Punk pops into Dynamite once in a blue moon, cool. If Kenny comes over to Collision once in a blue moon, cool. As long as there's a reason for it. As long as we're not just doing it for the sake of doing it and there's like a reason, a purpose. 99% of the time, you're going to find them on their own shows. So... no, yeah, I don't mind that at all. Don't mind specific stories being on specific shows. But I would just have something that just goes across as well. William said, I'm looking at the roster for AEW women. Why not make an entire women's show? I would definitely watch that. Oh, that's a very interesting point because that's something that's been raised quite a few times about, like, should the women have their own show, have their own space? I would definitely watch that as well. But you could make an argument of why don't WWE do that? Because WWE have got a network. They've got how many hours? I mean, 3 hours on Raw. They've got 2 hours on SmackDown. They've got 2 hours. So WWE have got 7 hours of content to fill every single week on TV. And then they've got like a network as well. I don't know if they would want to look to introduce another show, another little 1 hour, if there would be a space for that. Who knows? I mean, to be honest, who knows what's going to... I don't think anything's going to happen now, of course, because we're getting towards the end of the TV deals. So all of this would be featured in negotiations for the start of the next TV deals. So I suppose this is where it's down to the networks to say we want X amount of hours of content. And then, 3 hours of that would be Raw. Potentially, you could always go 3 hours for SmackDown. There would be some kickback on that, but I feel like there's a great chance that is going to happen one day, because Nick Khan has said if they could increase it to 3, he wouldn't even think twice. It would take him 0 seconds flat to agree to doing that. You could do the same with NXT as well. Like they are all about making money, and as much ad revenue as what can be generated, as much TV time, as much exposure as what they can get, they will take it. take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. So yeah, I suppose that would be something that would have to feature as a part of those negotiations. I suppose it comes down to what do the TV networks want. I think what's interesting is that since Peacock bought the network, we haven't seen that kind of innovation that we were seeing before. Do you remember they were doing things like Legends House and the cartoon show like Camp WWE and Edge and Christian's show and Holy Foley and 205 Live. There was a lot of content that was being made for the network, which now they've been given a big fat check from Peacock. It seems like that's not something that they are necessarily fully focused on caring about so much now. Now it's like, you know, the bare bones, isn't it? Here's Raw from 5 weeks ago. Here's SmackDown from 5 weeks ago. Here's NXT from last week. Here's NXT Level Up. Here's, well, it's not even NXT UK anymore. Here's, I don't know. I don't even know what they put on. Like this week, they probably still do that, which is a bit of a roundup of the week. And that's it. Like, and pay-per-views. And some, like, occasionally once in a while, they'll put some old content and chuck that on that's maybe not been on there before. I've noticed the past few weeks they've been putting up some more 1980s sort of content, like TV content. But yeah, it seems like they're just not that engaged now that they've got the big fat check from Peacock. So a women's show I think would be great. There is a feeling that women's wrestling is not greatly received. Not as greatly received as the male wrestling. I honestly don't know how true that is. I've never gone into the segments. All I can tell you is I love it just as much. So for me personally, I would absolutely be there. I'd absolutely stream it. I'd absolutely love it. I enjoyed the Evolution pay-per-view, which was just a all-women's pay-per-view. They've never redone that, though, because I don't think the ratings for that was very good at all. That's hence why we've never seen another of those. You know, if that had killed it, if that had done brilliant numbers, you would have got another. But we've never had another one of those. And so I think, sadly, there is a feeling that, like, the women's wrestling just isn't really what people are looking for. It's a good thing to have, and there's some amazing female wrestlers, but predominantly people are tuning in for Roman Reigns. And people are tuning in for Cody, and people are tuning in for Seth, you know. I think, though, that, you know, the women can only do what they can do given the opportunity that they are given, right? I mean, you give them the platform, you give them the stage, and they've shown time and time again that they can kill it, right? They can do as good a match as the men. And as I said, I'm a massive fan of women's wrestling. Some of my favorite recent matches have been the women's wrestling. So I would love to see another Evolution. I would love to see a women's show. I would totally support it. Yeah. I mean, AEW, I suppose, are in a similar boat. You know, they've got they could turn Rampage into an all women's show, couldn't they? I mean, a lot of people saying Rampage should be the Ring of Honor show. Just as much could be an all women's show. Which, I gotta be honest, would grab my attention a little bit more than Rampage. Rampage is just a nothing show to me. I mean, certainly now with Collision, it's third in the pecking order, and I don't even know what it does. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what its purpose is. Like, it used to be a bit of an overspill for Dynamite, and maybe it still is. But now that Collision's around, what is it? What is Rampage? So, you know, you could make that Ring of Honor, I think, with its own roster. I think that would give it a much stronger identity. I don't think Rampage means anything. So Ring of Honor would be great. But giving it over to the women, I'd be really interested to see how that would perform and see if that would grab some attention. The only problem you would have is that the big names, your Britt Bakers, your Jamie Hayters, your Sarayas, your Tony Storms, they're going to feature on Dynamite and Collision. So, you know, who are you dealing with? If you're dealing with an hour of women's wrestling, like your Sky Blues, who's fine. She's yeah, I don't mind Sky Blue, but I don't know. Like, is there enough depth? Is there enough depth in that women's division for it to warrant its own show? It's an interesting one to get your teeth into. Big Time Baxter said WrestleNomics tweeted after Collision number, depending on the movie, it ranges between $300 to $750 at a cheaper price. Ranges to $750. That's the first I've heard of that. $300 to $400 is what I heard. So what WrestleNomics tweeted that out, did they? WrestleNom. Let's have a look. I'd like to see the wording of that. Did you say that was tweeted? Tweeted after Collision number. Wow. Women of Wrestling finished with its highest monthly. Oh, that's for a month. In September, it did 358. I thought that was one episode. I was like, damn, that's good. Collision started with a smaller audience, fairly stable viewership. All demos were down, measuring 11K to 61K, 125 quarter hours. It's not slapping me in the face. If you know where that tweet is, ping it over to me, because that's the kind of stuff that's really interesting. There's no argument with facts and figures and numbers. I totally believe it, but I just wanted to see how it was worded and what it was it said. Like, is that just like, one film that's hit that number? Is, if they shown Avengers or something, or, how regular was that happening? Because 300 to 400 is what I was told. I believe it's what Dave Meltzer was talking about. Maybe it wouldn't have that detail, to be honest. Maybe it wouldn't say like that films got to 750, how many times that happened. This is the kind of thing that I think if like WrestleNomics, if they do a great job, a fantastic job, but if they are legitimately going to provide information to wrestling fans, good, honest, clean information, I think one of the things I would like to know is show me the past year. Show me the past 12 months before Collision started of what the films in that time slot was doing. And then we've got visibility. Then there's no guessing game, because then we can go back and we can go, look, 50 of the last 52 weeks was 500,000. So that's the average, right? Or 50 of the last two was 600,000, or it was 300,000 or 400,000. I don't know what that number is. I could understand it depending on the film. I could understand that. But I don't know that information is out there. I don't know that anyone's done that. I don't know that anyone's pulled that together. Aaron, shout out to you. Hope you're well, my friends, and hope you had a great weekend down in London town. Aaron said, Days excited for tonight. Should be a great show. Also, not a regular view of NXT, but last night was very good. Thanks for being great at Wrestling Shop Live. Aaron, shout out to you, my friends. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you, buds, and in person. And it was just a great time. You actually came at a great time as well. It just seemed like everyone was sort of, well, not everyone, sadly. There was a good few community members that sort of popped in, obviously, on the Thursday, and popped in at different points on the Friday as well. But we had there was a moment. There's a great picture where there's like Miss Clown and Wrestle with Andy and Aaron, and Cameron was there as well. And there was quite a few people that just seemed to be around at that kind of same moment. So you timed it perfectly. I think you was the last to arrive in that group as well, so fashionably late, which, well done for that. We were all kind of there, where is he? And then in he comes. So, yeah, shout out to you, Aaron. As I said, I hope you had a great time, bud. Harley said, Days, are you excited for Mason Mount signing a number 7? Or Haley, sorry. Haley wrestling fan. Am I excited for it? I am excited for it. I think he's someone who... my concern as a Man United fan, we won't spend too long on this, is that I believe we've got just over 100 million to spend, and we've just spent like 50 odd million of it. The thing is, though, that is spaced out over a number of years. So, it's hard to know like how much we can spend this summer. It's hard to know like how much of the budget that has actually taken. It might not have took the 55. Because as we said, that's in installments. So I know we want a keeper. I know there's a lot of talk around Onana. What's my name? And we're also looking at striker. We're looking at Amrabat as well. I saw a post where someone said if we get... Is it Højlund? I don't know how you pronounce his name. The Danish striker. If we get him, if we get Amrabat, we've got Mount, and if we get Onana, what's my name? We get all four of those. Like, how good will this window have been? And people seemed a bit down on it. They were like, 6, 7, But to be honest, I think what people want is they want that Ronaldo, They want Kane. They want that big marquee signing that we go, let's go, right? And gets everyone fired up. These aren't necessarily names that do that. But to be honest, these might actually be the names that we should be signing. These, rather than getting Sancho, rather than getting Anthony, rather than going out and buying Casemiro, who has been amazing, by the way, and Varane, these big names, go out and get people that fit the system. Go and get people that Ten Hag wants that's going to work as part of this team. And, let's see what the result is by doing that. So if we can get Mount's great. I'm pleased with the signing, but I want a striker. There's other positions that need sorting. I think if we can get those four, if by the end of the window we've got those four, I'll be pretty pleased with that. I'll be pretty pleased. I really like Amrabat as well, so I'll be pretty pleased with that. I mean, as a football fan, you always want that bit more, don't you? I'd love to see a centre back come in as well. So we've got some really good cover for Martinez and Varane. Still not sold on Dalot, to be honest. I like Shaw. I think our fullbacks are just not that impressive. So, but you can't fix it all in one window or even two. So you just got to do what you got to do, haven't you? So yeah, I like it. I like Mount. I'm excited to see where it leads. Brenton said, shout out to you, Days. Shout out to you, Brenton. What would it take for you to skip Dynamite and watch Collision, not regular, but just an occasional week? Action is far better on Collision, despite the low ratings. What would it take for me to do that? It would need to be a pretty monster show. It would need to be a show where we're talking big builds, big title matches, a big buzz, sort of like a mini pay-per-view type thing. Which I know it's difficult, but like Saturday night, you would think that's kind of what Collision, like a Saturday night main event type thing. Big main event, just a really well put together pay-per-view-esque show. Just like another Dynamite, which I'm sure this is. From everything I've seen, it's like this is Dynamite, but dare I say, better. Certainly the commentary has been getting a lot of props. So the reason why I don't do Collision is because it's not something that I want to do one week and then not do the other week. I've explained that before. So I don't want to watch it, say, this weekend. And then next weekend I can't because it's UFC and it's a big UFC. And then the weekend after that I can't because it's SummerSlam. But then the weekend after that, yeah, I can do it. But then the weekend after that, I can't because of boxing. And the weekend after that, I can't because there's YouTuber boxing. Then the weekend after that, we're back to UFC's big monthly show. But then the week after that, I can do it. Like, that would just be so messy. No one would know if we were doing it, if we were not doing it. I really believe in like consistency on YouTube. It's so important. People need to know. I mean, like you lot, I didn't advertise this stream today. You lot know hour before, boom, we're here. Like I don't need to tell you. People just know because we've done it year after year after year after year. And the thing with Collision is there's no way of me being able to commit to doing that every single week. So for me, it's all or nothing, and I can't do all. So, but in regards to like checking it out, like for a one-off, it would need to be a show that's not up against the WWE pay-per-view, that's not up against the big monthly UFC show. And it would need to be like going up against one of the smaller UFC shows, or ideally no UFC show. And it would need to be big. It would need to be significant. It would need to be one of those that everyone's like, really buzzing about, and there's a real buzz around it. At the moment, as someone that doesn't watch Collision, I'm not necessarily seeing that size buzz, right? What I'm seeing is people going, yeah, it's right. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like Dynamite, but like a bit tighter, a bit better. I just ain't going to move the numbers. It needs to be bigger. It needs to be like more unmissable than that, I think, to really grab people. And I just think it's going to be hard for them, to be honest. It's going to be really difficult because Saturday night is just not a great night. It's just not a great night for trying to get ratings. CM Punk came back; it did 800,000. I mean, if CM Punk had come back on Dynamite would have done a much bigger number than that, because it does a number bigger than that normally anyway. So, CM Punk coming back and the debut episodes, and it still only did 800,000, which we say only. But what I'm saying is that Saturday night, it's difficult on a Saturday night. It's hard on a Saturday night. I'm saying only in comparison to, say, the 1.2 million that Rampage did. I'm saying only in comparison to I think it was 1.3, 1.4 that Dynamite did when that first started. That's where we can say only 800,000 when we compare it to the numbers from those shows. So, yeah, I think it just showed from the start it was going to be tough. But this is where I've been saying, like, we need to have a clearer expectation as to what it is that they're hoping to achieve. The million, I just don't think is something that even they're looking at trying to get for a Saturday night. I just don't think that's the expectation. If Collision was consistently doing like 700,000, I think they'd be over the moon. I really do. I think they'd be over the moon. But as we said, we'll see how it bounces back after this weekend. Big Time said, I tagged you in the tweet. Several movies in the 600,000. One at 814. Second, 700. Thank you. TNT reruns in Saturday prime time on TNT that made the ratings. Ryan, weekly top 200 reruns in the last 12 months. Recent missing weeks here. Top 200 was 0 to 1. The slot machine performed no better than that in those weeks. God, I don't even understand what he's saying. TNT reruns in Saturday primetime on TNT that made ratings. Ryan, weekly. He's talking in code. So, this is ratings. I mean, this is good. This is really good. I really appreciate you sending this over. I'm trying to decode it because it's not every week, is it? So they've got... this must be the weeks that they did movies, maybe? So I don't know what's in the time slots other than that. But there's... I'll show you. Rather than me reading it, I might as well just pop it on screen. Some people will find this interesting. Some people won't care. We won't spend too long on it. But I'm seeing this for the first time. So this looks like movies that have been on since going back to July last year. So the past 12 months. And as you can see, there's clearly not 12 months of data here. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 12 weeks worth of stuff here. So I don't know what the other 40 weeks were. I don't know what the numbers were for the other 40 weeks, but we've got 12 weeks worth of data. I'm guessing that this P2 plus is the overall number, because we've got 689, 670, 738, 814, 550, 482, 503, 689, 546, 562, 475, 630. So looking at this, right? Looking at that, I would say that we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4 in the sixes. Let me just quickly jot this down. So we've got 4 in the 600,000 range. We've got 1 in the 800,000 range. We've got 1 in the 700,000 range. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 500,000 range. We have 1, 2 in the 400,000 range. And is there any 300,000s there? No. Okay. So we've got 2 in the 400,000s, 4 in the 500,000s, 4 in the 600,000s, 1 in the 7, 1 in the 8. So take out the 7, take out the 8, take out the 2 400,000s, right? Because we're taking out the 2 that are above, the 2 that are below. We're then left with 4 in 500,000, 4 in 600,000. There's a real quick number. We're looking at an average of 550, right? So 550, judging by these 12 weeks of movies. Again, I don't have visibility on the other 40 weeks, so I don't know what the other 40 weeks were doing. So, that's interesting, because as a ballpark, I would say, just looking at that, I would be looking at about 550. So first week they did 800,000. So I think that puts into perspective. It's good. Second week they went down to 595. Now this week they've gone to 450, but that is the same week as WWE. It'll be interesting to see what they do, kind of bouncing back. So I would say that this 450 feels low compared to the 12 weeks that I've just seen there. I would say that they need to get back around that 550 range in order to kind of be in line with what was there before. So that is interesting. I appreciate you sending that through, because I feel like that gives us just a bit more of an insight into what was in that time slot before. I wish I'd got visibility on the other 40 weeks, though. I'd love to have, obviously, the more data you have, you can drown in data, in all fairness. But I feel like the more data that you have, like 12 months worth of stuff, then I feel like you are, getting much closer to what that number would be. So I would say 550 as a real rough kind of ballpark. 550, looking at what I've just looked at, which it's going to be tricky for them to do that against WWE. As we said, they've just done a 450. But on the weeks where there's no WWE, then I think they could do that. I think that could be achievable for them. Brenton said, how often have you seen promotion for All In London? Given the most recent ticket update, it got me thinking about how much buzz it is getting UK-wide on TV and websites, radio, 75,000 tickets. How much have I seen it? Not loads, to be honest. Not loads. I was watching an England game. England were playing a football match at Wembley, and it was on the banners. I saw it there. I'm told that it is being run during WWE. To be honest, I never noticed, because as soon as we go to commercial, I go to the chat. So there is every chance that when WWE is being shown, that they've got commercials running then. I've never noticed them, though. But I honestly would not dispute if someone was to they do it every time, at least once an episode, Raw, SmackDown, they're showing an advert for it. Cool, yeah, I believe you. As I said, I'm always in the chat during those moments. Again, I wouldn't doubt that they'd got some adverts in some of the national newspapers. That wouldn't surprise me. Papers like The Sun and The Mirror would make total sense for them to go on there. But to be honest, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not like, it's not like I'm walking down the street and I'm seeing like banners on the side of bus stops, or I'm flicking through the paper and seeing adverts or whatever it is. But to be honest, I think it's probably, in this day and age, it's probably being driven online, isn't it? It's probably being driven on social media, probably big like Facebook campaigns, Twitter campaigns, things along those lines. I mean, we talk. It's difficult because I see wrestling stuff everywhere all the time because I'm constantly like being fed wrestling stuff, like either being tagged in stuff or obviously I'm being recommended like little adverts and whatever because I search for wrestling so much that my algorithm is so that it will always recommend wrestling. But yeah, I can't say that I've personally noticed loads of stuff. But it's undeniably going to be out there. And 75,000 is obviously a great number. I do think, though, that is going to be international as well, though. I don't think that's just England, Britain. That's clearly going to be Europe, European fans. I was talking to a few. I mean, there was a guy at Wrestling Shop Live who went to the O2 and he came over from Italy. There was a guy that came over from Hawaii. Obviously, green shirt guy came over as well. So I wonder if there'll be a green shirt guy for AEW. I wonder if they'll get their own green shirt guy. Yeah, it's not just England. It's not just Britain. I would think they've probably got some sort of European campaign as well. This is an opportunity. If you're an AEW fan in Germany, France, Italy, Belgium, Holland, right? I mean, it's nothing to get to England. I mean, in many ways, that part of Europe, well, I would say Europe actually is very much like the United States in the sense of each country is like a state. For me to leave here and get to Poland is, I think, about 2.5 hours on a plane, something like that. I think it takes me about as long to get from England to Poland as what it would take for me to get from Florida to Boston, right? So when you actually put Europe into that sort of perspective, you start to realize that, this show at Wembley is very accessible for Germany, Holland, Belgium, France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Bulgaria, Poland, Croatia, Greece, right? Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, the list goes on and on and on. Actually, Europe is a very big potential market. And actually, it's a market that I think has been very underserved, even by WWE. I have no idea why they've never tried to expand further with Europe. They've made great inroads in the UK. The UK's rocking when it comes to wrestling. But you never really hear much about Spain or Italy. Like, there are fans. There's definitely fans, but it's not a massive market for them, or seemingly AEW. It's not a massive market, but I can't see why it wouldn't be. I can't see why it wouldn't. I was chatting to someone actually at Wrestling Shop Live. I was talking to him about Bruno Sammartino. I was like, do people know of Bruno in Italy? And he said no. He went, people wouldn't know. There is a statue of him, which, to be honest, I really want to go to that statue. I did mean to look at that statue up. Bruno Sammartino statue. Yeah, there is. That is sick. It's a pretty ugly statue, to be honest. That's not the best statue I've ever seen. I've got a picture of it. I would really love to go and see this. There is a picture of Bruno with Bruno's there as well. Look. With his statue. I wonder where is that? I would love to go and visit that. That is going to be on my to-do list. But yeah, apparently people just don't know. They just don't know. It's pretty fun, isn't it? I feel like there's a video here. Weirdest wrestling statues from around the world. There must be some weird wrestling statues. And this is one that was unveiled in 2017. It's a 10-foot high statue in his hometown of Pizzo Ferrato in Italy. Pizzo Ferrato. Where is that? Pizzo Ferrato. We will be starting in a couple of minutes. Pizzo Ferrato. God, I wonder how you get there. Pizzo Ferrato is... So this was his hometown. And you know that Italy's like a boot. I'm trying to see where... Oh, it's bang in the middle, you know. Bang in the middle. Can I do a... might be a bit risky, but, you know, YOLO. YOLO, you only live once. Let's see if... There we go. Hey, there's Europe. So you can see London, for those of you that aren't fans of... Right, welcome to Geography Days. I do love breaking into geography once in a blue moon. This is Europe, not all of it, but most of it. You can see Birmingham in the top left. We've got Manchester, Birmingham. I'm about an hour kind of north. I would say an hour northwest of Birmingham. Hour northwest. Kind of tucked up against the border with Wales. You know, I could get to Manchester in an hour, I could get to Birmingham in an hour. That's where I am. You can see where London is. That's where Wrestling Shop Live was. And then you can see like France and Spain. Well, that dot right there, that is where Bruno Sammartino was born in Italy. And it's right bang in the middle. Italy is beautiful. Beautiful. I've been to Florence, which I actually don't know if I could point to. Oh, there it is. Don't need to. It's right there. Florence is beautiful. Right next to Pisa. I've been to Pisa to see the Leaning Tower. There she is. And I've been to Florence. That is amazing. And then that's where thing is. Not far from Rome, actually. I wonder if I could do like a weekend where I go to Rome and then just pop over there. It's probably a bit of a distance. Probably ain't going to get a taxi, are you, in all fairness? But, yeah, that's... And then if we go over here, there we go. And there's all the shops that I went to when I did my toy hunt in 2018. And I am hoping to go again. Right, we are live with AEW. We are... backstage with Darby and Keith. Let's see what's happening. This is about you. Why is Darby... Darby telling Keith Lee to pull his head out of his ass and take this serious. If you think you've been lost in the shuffle, do something about it. Keith Lee says that was stupid, but ballsy. Okay, we're starting with, I think, Orange Cassidy by the sounds of things. Don't poke the bear cats, said Horatio Mind. Don't poke the bear cats. Okay, so it is OC and Darby taking on Keith Lee and Swerve. I like Keith Lee and Swerve. As I said, I'm quite excited to see them as a team. Orange Cassidy's 2023 singles record is 16-0. 266 days as international champion. The big bad booty daddy got you hooked up. Holla if you hear me, said James. Holla. You just circled me. I'm in that Central Florida bubble, said Esteban. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm thinking of going down to Florida again next April. I was talking about that the other day. I want to get some more toy hunts done. I want to get over there, and toy hunting in Florida is so good, so easy, so many places to go, all really tight together as well. Brenton said 75,000 tickets distributed without a card announced is mental. As you all say across the pond, what matches could you see them getting if Wembley is a sellout? CMFTR, Goldberg, Sting retirement matches. I genuinely don't know. I mean, I don't know about Sting retiring. I don't know if he's made noises on that. CM Punk MJF is one that's been mentioned. So that would be one. I would imagine Elite Blackpool Combat Club, maybe. I mean, both of those teams are going to be on the card. And I believe they're... Am I right in saying they're feuding at the moment? Yeah, I believe they are. So CMFTR as like a trio, like competing against three other people. Don't know. As I said, the rumors are CM Punk MJF. And actually, there was an interesting comment that was made by Kenny, who said he thinks... I don't know. Oh, okay. Here's Swerve coming out with the Mogul Embassy. Hang on, what? The graphic said Mogul Embassy, and I'm sure that is what they're called, but the graphic behind, I'm sure it says Mogul Affiliates. I'm sure the graphic behind him says Mogul Affiliates. Yeah, Kenny said that he thinks All In and All Out might potentially run different personnel, which I think would be a big mistake. Because I think if you've bought tickets without a match card being announced, you've bought them because you're expecting everyone. I mean, the thing with WrestleMania is you're going to see the big stars. Doesn't matter who's facing who, really. They're all going to be there. And there'll be legends as surprises, WrestleMania moments, potential title changes. I mean, it is... You buy the ticket because it is WrestleMania. And I think that people have done the exact same for All In. They've bought the ticket because, listen, it's Wembley and it's called All In. And AEW are going all in. Well, going all in doesn't really translate to splitting the roster and only sending half of the stars over because you need to save the other half for All Out. I think that would be a mistake. But that was just a comment that Kenny made. Keith Lee and Swerve. Keith Lee interrupting Swerve's entrance here. I think Keith Lee looks better. I know that he was trying to rock the grey hair and he was trying to own that look. He was trying to go for something a bit different, which I don't mind, to be honest. I don't mind him trying to do something a little bit different. I think, though, that it wasn't landing. And it's better seeing him as he is here. Slapped by Darby to Keith Lee. Keith Lee charging over to Darby and hurling him. Wow. Darby getting some height on that throw. So Darby just getting chucked across the ring there by Keith Lee. Keith Lee going over, grabbing Darby. Swerve on the outside. I wish these two were still a proper team, Proper team with a proper name as well. Because they'd make a great team. Well, they do make a great team. Tag, in comes Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy getting into the ring. Darby tagging in Orange Cassidy. The glasses have been handed over to the referee. Tonight, we are going to be seeing the Acclaimed in action. Who are they taking on? Those are the Bollywood boys. We're going to be hearing from Chris Jericho. Got a slight slap coming in. So that's the Butcher and Daddy Magic taking on MJF and Adam Cole. Kenny Omega against Wheeler Yuta. So we just had these strikes coming in from Orange Cassidy. Keith Lee staring at OC. Big chop to Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy goes down. People in the chat saying, I didn't realize this was a hardcore match. It's so brutal. Tell me when Orange Cassidy is done. That was a big chop there by Keith Lee. Orange Cassidy goes back into the corner, puts his hands in his pockets. Another big strike coming in by Keith Lee. Orange Cassidy goes down. Swerve and Lee should win this. Tony Khan needs to stop trying to make Cassidy happen, said Brenton. You should look at the WrestleNomics quarters and how they fall off when Cassidy is on TV. Wrestle with Andy said, what's your second favorite company ever behind WWE? Oh, that's a great question. Second favorite company ever. I'm desperately trying to think if there's anyone other than WCW. I don't think there is. I mean, I did really, really enjoy Power, but I mean that was only for a couple of years, and actually, I don't even watch it now. It went behind a paywall, and the problem with it going behind a paywall is that's fine for me, but it is not great for doing a watch along because obviously. People, if you're going to watch NWA, you're sort of probably giving it a bit of a chance. You're giving it a bit of a watch. You're giving it a bit of a chance. People aren't going to be prepared to pay for it to watch it. And they didn't, and it didn't work. And I believe it's now gone back onto YouTube, but the problem was it was a bit of damage done. You know, our community we had for NWA had moved on. So that was a real shame. I didn't watch Impact, didn't watch TNA. I think New Japan is pretty special, to be honest, but my exposure to it is only a few times a year. But if I think about like some of the stuff that came out of that, same with All Japan Women as well. All Japan Women would be in the conversation. But again, I've seen way more WCW than I've seen All Japan Women. But like, you know, you're talking Bull Nakano and Asha Kong and some of the absolute legends over in Japan in that kind of late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, it's got to be WCW. It's a really boring answer, though. It's a really boring answer. But I can remember like watching WCW, going around my grandma's on a Saturday. I was never an avid viewer, but WCW you could actually get on TV. I can't remember the channel. I don't know if it was Channel 4. I've got a feeling it might have been, but she only had 4 channels. This was before Channel 5 even existed. So in her TV, there was BBC 1, BBC 2, ITV, Channel 3, and Channel 4. And, you know, I remember watching things like Baywatch on a Sunday, Trouble in Paradise would be on, Knight Rider would be on, but also you could find WCW. And so, you know, free TV, I'd be watching the likes of Sting and Lord Steven Regal, kind of that kind of stunning Steve Austin. It was that kind of era, like early 90s stuff. And I used to watch that. It was hard to follow the stories because I'd watch it one week and then not see it for a few weeks, but I would say I've certainly growing up, and obviously now that I'm older as well, I've watched way more WCW than anything else. So I'd have to go with that. But I feel a bit dirty saying it. Front face lock by Orange Cassidy. Forearm strike to Swerve. Swerve goes back into the corner. We're 12 minutes into the show. Swerve is in the ring. There's some good tags being made by Orange Cassidy and Darby. And big chop coming in there by Darby. Baywatch was a Sunday night classic, says Wrestle with Andy. Yeah, there was some great stuff on a Sunday. TV was so good back in the day. Before the internet came along and ruined everything. Before streaming services came along. The only place you could watch shows was on TV, which meant that all the good stuff was on TV. And that even meant that, you know, if it wasn't like Even the repeats were still amazing because you might not have seen them in the week or whatever. So on a Sunday, I mean, they just bought like old shows because in the early 90s, I think Baywatch was running, but I don't think it was like that week's episode. Same with Knight Rider as well. 18, those kind of shows were the shows that were being shown on British TV on a Sunday. So used to watch those and watch WCW. Big right hand there by Swerve. Keith Lee's quite impressed, but a few words are being exchanged. Anna Dawes, shout out to you. Should have said World of Sports. I never watched World of Sport. I mean, I should have said World of Sport just for the sake of saying it, to be honest. But I never watched it. It was, I don't want to say before my time, but it sort of was. Because I think by the mid-80s, it was kind of done. And, So Keith Lee powerbombing Swerve, who suplexed Darby. We've got Orange Cassidy launching himself at Keith Lee. So yeah, like Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks. Those guys, I mean, they were kind of big, like late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s. But I think by the time we get into the 90s, I mean, it is done. I don't even think it's on by that point. So trying to catch up on World of Sport has been very difficult, to be honest. They released a couple of DVDs, which I never got, and I really should have bought them. And actually, I might even see if I can still get them, but there was a couple of DVDs that kind of went through the history of World of Sport Wrestling. And I've seen like some videos online. I've watched like the likes of Mick McManus and Johnny Saint, Rollerball Rocco. Obviously, Big Daddy was the big one. Giant Haystacks as well. Cassidy on the outsides, putting a tight squeeze on. It's where Regal, Dynamite, Kids, Davey Boy, they all came through. There's footage of Davey Boy, I think, when he's like 15 or something in World of Sport. Wow. Keith Lee is walking up this. That is mental. Keith Lee walking up the steps whilst Darby Allin is underneath them. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Keith Lee had got Orange Cassidy on his shoulders. He was walking up the ring steps whilst Orange Cassidy was on his shoulders. That was a fun spot. That was a good spot. Keith Lee going against the ropes. Orange Cassidy against the ropes. Keith Lee grabs him. Orange Cassidy looking for a guillotine, maybe, but he's not got it. Keith Lee picking him up. Looking for the stun dog, but couldn't get it. Keith Lee has got him up on his shoulder. Looking for a DDT. He can't get that either. Oh, there is a stun dog that's in there, but Keith Lee takes it, grabs Orange Cassidy. Another stun dog. Oh, and Darby grabs Keith Lee. Manages to hit a code red. Keith Lee is down. Orange Cassidy looking for the cover. Swerve is going to make the save, but Orange Cassidy moves out the way. Swerve lands into Keith Lee. This is a good opening match. This is a good opening match. I love Keith Lee and Swerve together. I think they're so good. Swerve just splashed Keith Lee and he's laughing about it. Swerve, back elbow to Darby. Orange Cassidy to the outside. Darby, backbreaker. Orange Cassidy gets back into the ring. And Swerve throwing Orange Cassidy onto the shoulders of Keith Lee. Oh, and Swerve kicking Keith Lee. There's a bit of miscommunication between these two. Suicide dive to the outside. DDT by Orange Cassidy. Darby is pinning Swerve, and Darby and Orange Cassidy pick up the win. I think that's a shame. I know the future's probably not going to be Swerve and Keith working together, but I think that's a bit of a shame. Really good match, though. That was a really good match. Fun opening match. So Swerve is the one that's pinned and is really frustrated about it. Top 5, WWE, WCW, TNA, ECW, and New Japan, says Wrestle with Andy. Great pin by Darby at the end, said LS Dub. Well, we can all guess that feud will set up again now, says Anna. James said, return today. Already done my team. Oh, the thing. Harlan cost 14 million. Oof. What the hell is the blue light? Blue light. I didn't see a blue light. I didn't see a blue light. Orange Cassidy in the ring then. As Darby goes to the outside, there's a family that have all got MJF scarves. Darby going around and posing. There we go. Goes over to a little fan. That's nice. That is not the right pen for that job, is it? The guy gives Darby a Darby action figure and gives him a biro pen. Can you sign on that? It's like, I mean, that is Sharpie all day, every day. Is that Darby Allin's signature pin? I don't think so. I'm sure he has used it before. It was a good pin, though. Keeping that one leg, extended so he couldn't kick out. Got a little video package of Darby. I wish all 4 men were in WWE, said Justin. Days, you and I, we are besties. Let's kick back and sip on our sour milk. Giggling at Triple T from 3 seats over. Let's do it. I might go and see Triple T as well. I looked into it last night. If I do go to Florida, and I'm 99% certain I'm going to do that, it's going to be a good couple of $100, but it'll be worth it. Let's jump on a plane and go to Boston. YOLO, innit? YOLO. Blaze, shout out to you. I hope you're well. Didn't they say Keith was the legal man near the end, but Swerve got pinned? Oh, I didn't hear that, to be honest. If that is a little botch, a little mistake, then it's a little bit of a shame. But it's not something that's going to dial down my enjoyment of the match. Good. I just wish they were a proper team all the time. Every time I watch Swerve and Keith, I always tend to enjoy their matches. We've got a banner that's talking about All In live on Sunday. Okay, we got Darby. We got Jack Perry. His hook from last week. I think, didn't he say that Jungle Boy is dead? Hook chasing after Jack Perry. Dives into the car. The car speeds away. I don't think he is Jungle Boy Jack Perry, is he? Okay, so this is Jack Perry. Last week was ridiculous. Going to Tony. Let's get an FTW title match. Now he's been attacked. Is that Hook? Don't know. Someone in a hoodie. Drives off. Yeah, it is. Right. The hell Jack Perry thinks is The Rock, says AR1. Crazy story time. Pollock and Thurston interviewed a gaming journalist, and he mentioned I believe Sony is involved in a lawsuit and they redacted sensitive information in pen so you can still see it. What do you mean? With who? With what? With AEW or what? The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass in action next. Commercial break. Michael said, would CM Punk agree to lose to Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Hangman so fans can be happy? I don't know. I mean, that is a very real situation, isn't it, between all of those? And I totally believe they don't like each other. There was rumors that CM Punk was willing to apologize for his side in it all, though. Who knows how true that is, right? Who knows how true that is? I think I would like to think that he would do what's... Oh, got the announcement. The Blade is just making his way down to the ring. Just been announced. So I've got the graphic, but I've still got the audio. Why is the Blade come down? Is the Blade in the match? Is it Butcher and Blades? No, it's not. It's Daddy Magic, isn't it? Isn't it Daddy Magic and the Butcher? Okay, I've got audio here from the arena. They haven't cut the audio. His tag partner. The Bollywood Boys. So the Bollywood Boys making their way down to the ring. So the Blade... Okay, yeah. So the Butcher's in a match later. We've got the Blades, who's with the Bollywood Boys. They're making their way down to the ring. Can't see it, but I can certainly hear it. I didn't even know they'd been signed by AEW, you know. Daddy Magic and the Butcher is a truly bizarre combo, said Lance. It's part of that tag thing, in it, where they've kind of drawn partners and put them together. It's a good idea, actually. I do like that idea because I think, like, in WWE, you could have some real fun with that. I do think, though, it's a little bit funny how, we just happened to get Swerve and Keith Lee, and we just happened to get MJF and Adam Cole. But, like, that kind of a random pairing, that is what you would end up with, isn't it? So I don't mind it. It's random, but it could generate something pretty fun. They could kill it, couldn't they? They might end up being like an amazing team. Okay, they've killed the feed now. It doesn't involve AEW. I forget who it's against. I want to say Microsoft. They tried to redact info as far as game costs and salaries. Thurston has a weekly YouTube show on a Wednesday, says Brenton. There was the question earlier, wasn't there, about CM Punk? I don't know that he would. I think there's a lot of bad feelings there, but there was rumors he was willing to apologize. Okay, we have gone back to Dynamite. Kieran said, WWE Raw's numbers plummet despite Money in the Bank fallout. Did they plummet? What was this week's Raw ratings? Raw ratings down. It did 1.83. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's their average, isn't it? Like 1.8. So we saw a big boost last week. I think they got to like 1.9 something. Now it's gone back to kind of where it usually is. That's fine. Okay, we got MJF and Adam Cole. They are working out together. You've got me on the spot. Here we go. So MJF's going to be doing some bench. He's on his phone. So MJF is, it's good that we've got these little, well, no, we haven't been doing these, have we? These kind of location shots. There's a big guy in the gym. That guy is so fat. When he took his pants to the laundromat, they said, "Sorry, sir, we don't do curtains." Adam Cole said you can't say stuff like that. The problem is, Adam Cole's coming across as a bit like a stick in the mud here. Do you know what I mean? There will be people watching that going, "That's pretty funny," and instead you got Adam Cole being a bit of a killjoy. MJF said, "Do you want me to knock this down? I know it's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight for you." So Adam Cole's going to do the same weight that MJF just did. MJF is distracted. Bad form. Someone in the chat says that was bad form. Well, it really wasn't lifting that the right way. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I think that those kind of video packages, even though it might not have been amazing, might not set the world on fire, it just adds a little more depth. You know, there's different ways that you can get characters across, and you can dig into like the relationships between wrestlers. One of those ways, and the most popular ways, of course, is promos. Having people go out and like cut promos on each other. But one of the other ways is just doing those kind of on location pieces. That also gives you a bit of an insight. You look like two B words and a dominatrix. So the Acclaim making their way down to the ring. We're half an hour into the show. I think it's been pretty fun so far. Acclaimed versus Bollywood Boys and the Blade. Right. The Acclaimed happen to be paired together, says Lance. I don't think this is... Is this that match? Is this one of them matches? I don't know, actually. You raised an interesting point. Oh, I don't have my graphic. I took my graphic away. No. This is not in that tournament. This is a 6-person tag. So it's the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass taking on the Bollywood Boys and the Blade. I don't know how this has come about. I don't know how we've got here, but as I said, I did miss last week's Dynamite. Did you see MJF call Cole whilst he was streaming to discuss a finishing move? It was hilarious, said Daniel. The two of them have been really funny together during segments. I didn't, but I did hear that he had called in during one of the streams. That's good. That's fun. That's good for his streams as well, because people will be tuning in to see if there's going to be another little MJF moment or whatnot. That's just fun for the fans, isn't it? You know? Good. But no Wi-Fi farts, but I might have jinxed it, said Tim. The mini derby is getting all the gifts, says AR1. James said, you can't do jokes anymore. It's cancel culture, Snowflake World. Sounds like Frozen. That was Snowflake World as well. Guess what? My mum surprised me with AEW Fight Forever for the Switch, says Matt. That's awesome, dudes. Enjoy it. It's certainly looks like the kind of wrestling game I would be into. I've seen a few mixed reviews, but if your mum's just gone and surprised it on you, that's amazing. I remember going to my nan and granddad's. I've got lots of stories about wrestling. Mold. But I went to my nan and granddad's, and we went to popped to the shops, and I had a Game Gear. I don't know if you remember Game Gear. Big, chunky, handheld thing, right? Had a Game Gear, and we went to the shop, and they were selling, like, cheaper Game Gear games. One of them was, like, Rage in the Cage or something like that. WWF. And my nan bought it for me, which was amazing because, like, you know, wasn't expecting to get a WWF video game that day. But my nan bought it for me, and oh man, I just play it all day. That was it. I was done. I was at home just playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. I wore that thing out. You can actually get it now as, I think, a plug-in thing. Last time I was in America, I saw it. I should have bought it. It was only like £10 or something. Plug it straight into your TV. You've got a WWE controller, like, and you just plug it straight into the TV and you can play the game. Oh, it's an awful game. It's dull. It's boring. It's aged horrifically. But as a little thing to shove on the shelf, like, it'd be pretty fun. Game Gear had terrible battery life. Oh, it did, yeah. You normally had to just keep it plugged in. I think it was like a 2-hour battery life or something. Yeah, it was. You're right. It was awful. I was having a look, seeing if I could see it. I don't think it was Rage in the Cage. Rage in the Cage was on Mega CD. I had that as well. What was it called? I'll go Game Gear, WWF. It's some sort of cell game. Steel Cage Challenge. Was that the one? Was that the one? That might have been the one. Elbow drop. So we've got the Bollywood boys in there. Yeah, Steel Cage Challenge. I saw this for 10. You can still get it online. eBay, $9.17. $9.17. There it is. Look at that. Just plug it straight into your TV. Steel Cage Challenge. And I don't know if they, like, added extra people into it or if they, like, souped it up or anything. As I said, the actual game itself was pretty rubbish. But, oh, man, for, like, $10, just plug it straight into your TV. Should have bought it, man. Should have bought it. Might even look for it now. I might even look for it now. See if I can find it now. Against the ropes goes one of the Acclaimed. It looks like it's Caster in there with the Blades. I think they're all in America. There was one here for like £15, but I think that's American eBay. Big shots coming in. Bowen with the super kick. Down goes the Blades. Too much pink gear, says Lance. I think they replaced Hogan with Warrior. I've got the NES version of that, said Travis. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Right, here comes Daddy Ass. Daddy Ass stepping inside. There's a sign in the crowd that says Papa Butt. Papa Butt. Boom. I don't know the names of the Bollywood boys. But Castor is up and he drops the elbow, and it looks like the Acclaimed 2, 3, and it is the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed. Let's go, Papa Butt, says Mitchell. Is that Coco problem, Jay? FB having new, or is that report coming back up? Last Stand Cornet bring up Adam Cole's physique, and rightfully so, said Brenton. Last seems to think they could turn Cole heel as a result of this tag team thing. Thoughts on Cole as a heel again? He works as a heel. I think he works as a heel. I think he can work as a face. I think him and Britt are a pretty good partnership. Hello, someone's interrupted the Acclaimed. Oh, it's the QTV woman. I tried to show the world my rap abilities, she says. She reminds me a lot of Emma. She made a video. I'm going to show the world what real talent is, says this boomer. You'll be peanut butter and jealous. I got some up for her, and it only comes in 2 words. Suck it. I don't know what that was. She said she had a video or something, but she hasn't played a video unless we're getting it next week. Don't know. This has been an entertaining Dynamite. I didn't need that little bit with that woman. But 2 matches. That last match was pretty good as well. Now we're seeing earlier today Eddie Kingston and Kenta. Eddie Kingston winning the New Japan Strong title. Independence Day. A dream achieved for Eddie Kingston. We can't talk about Eddie Kingston without talking about his complicated relationship with Jon Moxley. Here's Moxley. We've got everything we wanted out of this business, says Moxley. What is there to walk around all mad for? We make every day counts. Moxley said, it really annoys me how much you complain about the young generation, how they have no work ethic. Eddie, answer your phone. Congratulations to Eddie Kingston, New Japan Strong Openweight Champion. Little graphic on screen. Blood and Guts. July 19th. TD Garden, which I believe is Boston. Blackpool Combat Club against the Elite. Blood and Guts. Good graphic, that is. Kenny Omega against Wheeler Yuta is the main event tonight. Backstage with Renee. Let's see what Renee's got to say. Really got into RJ City as well, by the way. I've been watching some of his UEW shows, Hey EW, whatever it's called. I saw the one with Sky Blue. She didn't come across great in that, did she? Jeff Jarrett is going to be the partner of Matt Hardy. Okay. Yeah, I watched some of those. They're pretty good. I'm surprised they actually let RJ City speak. He is funny, said Lance. RJ City. Mox's promo had him busted open. Yeah, I think he'd just had a match. I don't know if you saw that image. There was an image of Moxley in the ring. I saw it earlier today. He had all like sticks that had been like shoved into the top of his head. It looked like a peacock. It looked like a rooster. So it'd been up to, I'm guessing he had a match at that Independence Day thing. I think the drawing might be rigged, said Esteban. Yes. BBC are still using that terrible name, says Tim. Listen, to be named after the British Broadcasting Corporation is nothing but a privilege. Nothing but a privilege. Justin said, why does this feel like a Nickelodeon show? Don't know. Not getting that vibe. It'd be fun if it was, though. Here goes. Bit of Keenan and Kel. Bit of Adventures of Pete and Pete. Bit of Sister. Miss those shows. It was spaghetti, said Scottish Nightmare. Spaghetti. I thought they were little sticks. Maggie said, I am going to have to do some research. They were chopsticks, says Tahil. Then there's people that seem to be quite adamant that it's spaghetti. The drawing might suffer from poor scripting, says John. Right, we are 45 minutes deep. 45 minutes deep into the show, and so it's been all right. So far, so good. I want to see what other plug and plays there are, though. That's where my head's at the moment. Talking about that WWF plug and play video game things made me think, what other plug and play video games are there? Double Dragon? Oh, that's pretty. Mortal Kombat! Mortal Kombat plug and play? That's sick. I mean, to be honest, you can get all these games on your phone. So I probably shouldn't be that excited about it, but it is pretty exciting, isn't it? It's even got the words finish him written on the box. Finish him. So real, it hurts. So Double Dragon, that's pretty sick. Mortal Kombat, that's pretty sick. Vintage Star Wars. Don't know what that is. Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2, is it? Street Fighter 2. Plug and play. I wonder how good that is. Hang on, let me see if I can... Look at this. Like, it's got, like, 6 buttons on it. And, like, a proper joy. I bet it's, like, really cheap. Brakes, like, super easy. But, like... That also looks pretty fun, to be honest. $24.99 though. I think it's priced me out. I'll pay 10. I'll stretch to 12. $24.99. Not made of money. I'm not made of money. Activision plug and play. Don't know what that is. Superman plug and play. Double Dragon. Seen a lot of the same ones. Right, we should be going to our next match. We are back from the commercial break. Pac-Man. I don't know, man. I could never go on that Street Fighter one. Are we going to be hearing from Jericho? Is that what we've got? Right, not a match. Looks like it's going to be a Jericho promo. Mitchell said, don't forget all the legends of the Hidden Temple, Guts, Double Dare, Nick Arcade. Legends of the Hidden Temple was great. I never saw it, to be honest. I am aware of it, but I never saw it. I did see Guts. No ifs, ands, or buts. These kids have got guts. I remember that. But yeah, I didn't watch Legends. I didn't watch... did I watch Double Dare? May have seen some Double Dare. May have seen some. It does ring a bell. Legends, I think they might have released like a DVD box set of that. That's how I know of that. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't watch that one. But Adventures of Pete and Pete, Keenan and Kel, Sister Sister. I don't think Saved by the Bell was on that channel, but I did used to watch that. Do you remember California Dreamin'? That was like a Saved by the Bell sort of equivalent. Can you get California Dreamin'? Oh my God. This has turned into like a shopping spree for me. California Dreamin' DVD. I don't think you can. Oh, you know. It was a show. I haven't made it up. Ooh. Ooh. There is a best of. There is a best of. The best of California Dreamin'. I can only imagine that's about 20 hours long, isn't it? The best of California Dreamin'. I should get that. Relive my youth. Right, Jericho in the ring. Oh, bittersweet night for him. Yes, California Dreamin' had Kelly Packard, who went on to Baywatch. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know one of the girls had gone on to Baywatch. I was probably watching her in Baywatch, because Baywatch used to be shown on TV on a Sunday. I didn't even know. This is the perfect place for me to be reinvigorated, said Jericho, who's dressed up like a mirror ball. This is where I started my pro wrestling career. So it talks about down the road, he started his training with Stu Hart. Oh. So the crowd was saying Stu, and it sounded like boo. So Jericho was like, you're really booing Stu Hart. That was good by Tony, actually, to just jump in and go, they're saying Stu. So he's talking about all the places. It's a very babyface promo so far. Talking about when wrestling was everything to him. And it reminded me that wrestling still is everything. I feel resurrected. I feel invigorated. Going to become a better Chris Jericho. Wants to become the best version of Chris Jericho ever. Who's interrupting? I don't know whose music this is. Don Callis. Don Callis making his way down to the ring as Booze Rain down. Is this his? Has he got his own entrance music now? Okay, so Callis stepping into the ring. He's still got that mark on his head, isn't he? Oof. F you, Callis chant. Well, he is not very popular. What I'm hearing, says Dom, loud boos. You need a change. Loud boos, man. Loud boos. He's trying to talk, but the crowd are all over him. This is like that Dominic Mysterio heat. So he's talking about how he called Jericho 6 years ago for that match in the Tokyo Dome. You surprised me because you said, oh, yeah. And we changed the course of wrestling history. Without that match, these people wouldn't be here. Without that match, I don't think Chris Jericho is here. Jericho said it was hard for me to hear what you were saying because of all these boos. Talking about 2015, I knew deep down inside you was miserable. I wonder where this is going. Wonder where this is going. You're bigger and more powerful than you have ever been, says Jericho to Don Callis. So loud boos get. Maybe they're saying Stu again. I agree. When we get together, we make history. I was recently betrayed by Kenny Omega. So I've had to build a new family. And that new family is based on trust. And when I think about trust, I think about the greatest of all time. So he's trying to recruit Jericho into his new family. I think about my best friend. I think about Chris Jericho. Jericho's like, well, very kind. They love him, said Horatio Mind. Let's change history one more time. I'm here to formally ask, will you join the Don Callis family? Will you join the Don Callis family? I can't see him leaving the Jericho Appreciation Society to join the Don Callis family. You're seriously asking me to join the Don Callis family? You're asking me to join your faction? Chris Jericho doesn't join factions. Chris Jericho creates them. You want me to join your faction? Jericho said, my answer is maybe. So Jericho says maybe and exits the ring. It's not really an answer, is it? Smile on the face of Don Callis. Smirk on the face of Chris Jericho. CM Punk said Samoa Joe is a mountain that he's tried to climb, but he's never quite made the summit. I'm going to win for the first time, says Punk. This Saturday in Regina. Samoa Joe and CM Punk right in Regina. Tell me when I'm telling lies. So, CM Punk, Samoa Joe in the Owen Hart Foundation semi-final. Also, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks. Maybe a definite answer. Okay, so we've just got a video package for Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. There, I'm guessing the other semi-final. Tell you what, any of these winning would be pretty good, wouldn't it? Doesn't really matter if Punk wins, that's a big name. If Samoa Joe wins, credible, great. If Powerhouse Hobbs wins, great. He's always been seen as one as the future. If Starks wins, great. So Ricky Starks got past Juice Robinson. Powerhouse Hobbs got past Dustin Rhodes. Samoa Joe got past Roderick Strong. And CM Punk got past Kojima. Don't know where we are with the women's bracket, but I'm sure we'll see that in a bit because we've still got Britt Baker coming up. So we've got a little insight into Collision, which I really appreciate. And Roderick Strong was stretchered off and went to hospital. We're backstage with... Every time I see Roderick Strong, he tends to be injured backstage. He was in a wheelchair for ages in Diamond Mine towards the end. Roderick Strong's making progress. Roderick Strong said he feels amazing. Here's Adam Cole, baby. You've got to be careful. Roderick Strong asking Adam Cole, what is it with you and MJF? Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying MJF and Adam Cole together. He got a text from him and he was like, oh, just got a little bit like, oh. It's an inconvenience, but it's not really an inconvenience. Here's MJF then making his way down to the ring. Mitchell said, what's your halftime score? I'm around a 7. Yeah, I'd be about the same, buds. I'd be about the same. In fact, we'll play the little thing and we'll let people put in their scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime scores. Put it in the chat. Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or are you sad? Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this. Get in your thoughts Right, Mike said 33.1. Tahil said 6.75. Shakeem said 4. Let Him In said 7. Daddy said 6.99. Travis with a 3. Kian with a 7. Jordan with a 4.25. Trey with a 7. Elshawn with a 7. Joe with an 8. Tim said 10 out of 10, no Bray. Anna with a 6. Greg with an 8. MJF doing the Adam Cole, says Mitchell. Mike 6.9. Big Guy with a 6. Now that MJF is on, 6, said Christopher. DJ Poison with the 10. Erasure Mine with the 7. Seth freaking Rollins with a 7. Mikhail with the 10. I could see Goldberg beating Jericho in his retirement match at Wembley. Gets Jericho a feature match and Goldberg can go out on top, says Brenton. Butcher and Daddy Magic. I believe that's the team. Yeah, this is part of that, which I don't mind. I really don't mind. Randomly drawn tag partners. I wonder what the situation's going to be here with Adam Cole and MJF. It feels like Adam Cole is sort of warming to MJF to some degree, and I don't know if that's going to lead to a heel turn or if it's just going to result in him dropping his guard and then bang, MJF, hits him, gets him. As his guards just drop momentarily, MJF uses that as a way of getting at Adam Cole. I think it might be that way. I would think that we're probably going to do MJF Adam Cole again. That last one was like a time limit draw, wasn't it? In fact, maybe that could be all, because we need big matches. Could we do CM Punk MJF at All Out and then do the winner against Adam Cole at All In? Maybe we do something like that. So my guess will be that MJF will get past CM Punk and then we do MJF Adam Cole at All In. We've got an abdominal stretch here by MJF. So MJF is saying, hold on to my hand. He wants that extra leverage and Adam Cole won't do it. MJF was trying to get the crowd to join in with chants of do it, do it. And they are joining in. And he does it as well. So, he did do it. He did put his hand out. MJF grabbed it. They did get that extra leverage. And we know that Adam Cole's got a dark side to him. It's not going to take much to provoke it. 7.5 is a pretty good first hour, said John. Daddy Magic and Butcher, a.k.a. Magic Meat, said Chris. Michael said Tony Khan should bring in MJF's ex-girlfriend for a storyline. Ronnie said Adam Cole should beat MJF for the title. 8 out of 10, says Mike, for the song. LT said MJF is funny as hell. Tag made. In comes the Butcher. MJF trying to get over to Adam Cole on his hands and knees, but couldn't quite get there. Butcher is sat on the back of MJF. Some people in the front row really enjoying the action so far. So we got MJF face first into the corner. Big shot there by the Butcher. MJF down. Good way to start the second hour. People in the Fight TV chat saying that first hour absolutely flew by. Butcher going through the ropes. MJF trying to make that tag. Daddy Magic standing in the way, throwing in a kick to MJF. Butcher doesn't care. Brenton said CMFTR versus Bucks and Omega in London. Hopefully that happens considering Blood and Guts in 2 weeks. Hopefully that's the blow-off to the feuds, and AEW can move on and draw some serious money. Daniel said both the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club need a fifth man. Eddie is in the G1 during Blood and Guts, and Brian has broken his arm. Is this where we get Kota finally, and maybe Ospreay replacing Brian? Maybe. I'm very surprised we didn't get any Kota at all, actually. Didn't think about that during Forbidden Door. Godfather So said, Days, I'm smoking that Schnitzky. It makes you punt babies. AEW needs more in-depth storylines. Very, very dranked and smoked. R.I.P. He Banger Mosh. Hulk Hogan was known to skid mark the gold trunks. Thank you. Thank you, Godfather's Home. Thank you. Knee there by the Butcher. Roman is banned from TikTok. Is he? What? Roman Reigns? Why is Roman banned from TikTok? What's he done? Did he get his tribal chief out? Because that'll do it. Adam Cole needs to hit the gym, said Charles. He was doing it. We saw him do it earlier. Rainbows and Unicorns, a.k.a. Sam, says James Elizabeth Chad. That was a big reveal, man. That was a big reveal. I can't believe that's his legit middle name. Fair play, each their own. Big Daddy's real name was Shirley. You know, you just never know, do you? You just never know. Some of the fun names that people have. Right, I think we was at commercial break because the action, I mean, we are just getting abdominal stretches at the moment. Butcher's got one on MJF. We're seeing Daddy Magic grabbing a hold of Butcher's arm. I'd love to see Butch against Butcher. Dream match. Imagine Butch and Butcher as a tag team. Another stretch being applied. Maggie said, I'd pay him to get his tribal chief out. Oh, well, you probably did, and that's probably why he's got into the trouble he's got into. Kieran said, I can't wait for Friday to see Roman cry again. James said, apparently a video he put out was deemed too violent. Really? Wonder what that was. Like blood and all that, maybe. WWE will sort that out, won't they? If he has legit been like banned and everything, they'll sort it out. Butch and Butcher in a 6-man. Oh. Did he am I right in thinking he passed away, though? One of the Bushwhackers, I think, passed away, didn't he? Yeah, 2nd of April of this year. He was 78. He was 78. Way. Kick. That's amazing. He was born in 1944. That means that, I mean, if my maths is right, when we're looking at, like, Raw in 93, I don't know when the Bushwhackers came out, but, I mean, even in the early 90s, he's going to have been, like, 46, 47. Kick there by Adam Cole. God bless. God bless him. Mitchell said, Butcher, I hardly knew her. Kick by Adam Cole. Adam Cole is cleaning house. Cole jumps over. Knee strike. Super kick. Down goes Daddy Magic. Sorry, I couldn't help it, says Maggie. Okay, we got Daddy Magic down on his knees. Against the ropes goes Adam Cole. 1, 2, 3, and it is a win for MJF. and Adam Cole, baby. So MJF picking up Adam Cole. Kenny Omega and Wheeler Yuta still to come as part of our main event tonight. We're 15 minutes into this second hour. That was all right. It's pretty fun. We're going to be hearing from MJF right now. MJF with a smile on his face. Alberta, Canada. MJF is a bum sign. MJF is mid. There's a few MJF chants. He said, are there any devil worshippers in the crowd tonight? Do the thing. Here we go. Adam Cole's about to do the Adam Cole baby thing. Do the Adam Cole baby. We're better than you, baby. Hey, buddy. So MJF said, I think we would have done a better job if we'd have hit that double clothesline. We should have another bro session. You guys want to see us hang one more time? Crowd are into it. MJF hearts AC sign in the crowds. MJF hearts Adam Cole. Crowd are yes in a way. One more thing I need to tell you. I'm going to put the title down. Happy birthday. So MJF says, oh, and there's confetti. Streamers in the sky. They've sort of missed the ring a little bit. They sort of shut up and then started to drift away. I think they've landed on. They're all over MJF. We've got cake, balloon. I mean, we haven't gone too OTT. It's not a massive cake. There's one candle in it. There's a balloon that's struggling to stay up as well. A couple of party hats. Yeah, it's an effort, isn't it? It's an effort. An effort has been made. There's the cake. I think it says happy birthday, baby on it, and he puts the party hat on. Adam Cole's not thrilled at wearing the hat, but he puts it on. It's a good little segment, this. The day is all about you. There's the spirit, baby. Should have said baby. Oh, he's going to sing again. Oh, my God. I didn't sign up for this. Singing again. Mitchell said, this is awesome. Eric said, cake in wrestling shows, it never ends good. That is the world's smallest cake. Yeah, Adam's getting a bit... I get it. I appreciate the party hats, the streamers. Make a wish? Crowd are chanting make a wish. So he's going over to blow out the candle. Did he say I'm going to push his face in it? There's a candle? MJF tried to push. I mean, it doesn't strike me as a great idea. The MJF tried to push Adam Cole's face in the cake. Adam Cole reversed it. The cake. Good cake. Eat the cake. Eat the cake. Sign in the crowd says, MJF, have my babies. I mean this with sincerity. It was nice for you to do this. Thank you, my friend. Adam Cole says, thank you, my friend, and walks out. Kind of silly, but still better than WWE promos, said Vin. Days, why don't make a wish, says Dave. It's not my birthday, but every time there's a cake, someone gets it in the face, says Carlos. Right, we're backstage with Britt Baker. I wonder if she's a bit worried that her man's been stolen away. Ruby has got a lot to say, says Britt. It's cute. I don't care what you say about me. I don't care if anybody has got nice things to say about me. You've taken everything from me that I've ever cared about. So she's just got a few words for Ruby. This match could be all right. Oh, she's still got that belt. Oh, it's an ugly belt. I think it is based, though, on an old school Stampede title. So, I mean, there is a reason as to why it's maybe not aesthetically the most pleasing looking title in the world. Right, coming up next is going to be Britt Baker taking on Ruby Soho. Ruby. Okay, Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. Days, that segment needed more cake. Do you agree? I feel like more cake is not really ever a bad thing, unless you're on a diet, which I am at the moment. So it would not be a great thing for me. I weighed myself not long ago, and I think for my height and everything, I'm meant to be around about 13.5 stone. And I came in at like 14.2, 14.3. So, I mean, it's nothing drastic. But it's one of those, can't afford for it to... Once you're a boomer, you can't afford for that kind of a thing to slip. If it starts slipping, it can be difficult to get it back. So, just kind of just keeping an eye on it at the moment. Just keeping an eye. I want to be in... actually, I need to get Beachbody ready, don't I? If I am going to go to Florida next year, I want to be looking like Hillbilly Jim. Didn't think about that. Thinking about it now. No cake for me for a year. Best thing for a diet are daily sprints on a track, said Smithster. I can believe that, but I also am very aware about my limitations as a human. So I love the idea, but I'm not sure that's something that I'm going to be able to do, to be honest. It's been a great paced Dynamite so far tonight. It has. I agree. It has been a very good paced Dynamite. It's been pretty solid. It's been pretty fun. It's I can't say that we've been seeing sometimes on Dynamite you can get some of those segments like with Brandon Cutler and do you know what I mean, like Sanjay Dutt and some of those segments that you're just like, oh god, what's this? But we've just been getting some really good action. We've been getting some good fun segments. I mean, I think that segment just was fun. Maybe if we're going to be a little bit nitpicky, maybe MJF is just a little bit too much jovial. He's just maybe a little bit too much into it. Seeing him like sat laughing on the floor with cake on. You know, for someone like MJF, maybe it's just that little bit like too far, but that is very nitpicky. But it's fun to nitpick sometimes. People might go like super deep on it though and be like, well, he hasn't really got many friends and, you know, he's probably enjoying hanging around someone again and he's losing his inhibitions and blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's true. Okay, we're backstage with Jericho, Garcia, Sammy. You need to branch out for yourselves and do great things without me leading you, says Jericho. So Garcia and Sammy are teaming up together. Go win this tournament on your own. Can't be with me forever. Okay, well, this is interesting. Are we seeing the end of the Jericho Appreciation Society? Okay. Ticket selling for Collision this Saturday is a little worrying, says Millennial. There's only 1,600 tickets sold with CM Punk Samoa Joe on the card. Here is Britt Baker. She's got that belt, which we haven't seen since last year. She said that she's going to be two-time. So May 29th last year, she actually beat Ruby Soho. Now, was that in the final, was it? I can't remember. Can Britt Baker become a repeat winner? Let's go into the chat and we'll ask you lot who you think's going to win here. Let's jump in and see. Who wins? Are they going to go in a different direction or are they going to go this way? Okay, a little bit of a wobble there, but we're back, baby. I am starting to think this tournament isn't a blind pick. Okay, so we got the Outcasts have made their way down to the ring. We're about to get underway with Britt Baker and jump to a different route. Hopefully that's going to be a little bit stronger. Sometimes if one router is just having a little wobble, if you just jump to a different router, it tends to fix it. Okay, so Britt Baker in control. We have got the poll up for you to vote on as to who you think is going to be victorious here. Ruby round the back of Britt. Britt reversing that position. Both women in the middle of the ring. Against the ropes. Britt goes down, but she holds on. She's got like a Kimura that's being applied right now. How long we got? We got half an hour to go. Of course, we've still got our main event as well. I think that means we're probably not going to get loads of time in this match. Headlock against the ropes goes Britt. Shoulder tackle as Ruby goes down. Britt going against the ropes over the top of Ruby. Ruby looking for a clothesline. Britt goes to the other side. Sling blades. Sling blade by Britt working on the arm, picking up Ruby. Little botchy. Little botchy, but it does allow Ruby to get to the outside of the ring. Britt coming over. Ruby grabbing Britt, dragging her out the ring. There's a big cup that's on the outside. Is that what the winner gets this time around? Not the belt. They get the cup, do they? Down goes Britt on the outside. So she had Saraya. She had Toni Storm. She was having to deal with quite a few moving parts there. Yeah, big cup. They might have got that last year as well. Honestly, I don't remember. I only remember the belts. Days, what does the Owen Hart Foundation do? Do you know? I don't know. I don't know what it actually benefits. That's a good question. Let's find out. It helps people, according to this. About the Owen Hart Foundation. Let's click on it. On May 23rd, 1999, my husband died violently and tragically after falling 8 stories from the top of Kemper Arena in Kansas City. As the result of a wrestling stunt gone horribly wrong, Owen's death made no sense to me and threw me into a world of darkness. It was so preventable and so unnecessary. Questions haunted my mind. Why did this happen to him, to me, and to our children? My answer came one day like a flash of light in the form of the Owen Hart Foundation. I believed that if I could help others in Owen's name, it would give meaning to his death. To me, that meant he did not die in vain. I established the Owen Hart Foundation in his memory in December of 2000. Building this meaningful tribute to my husband and our children has given me strength and saved me from despair over his death. The Owen Hart Foundation is a permanent legacy that is in place to help people and for generations to come. Owen was a practical man of profound integrity, a wonderful husband and a devoted father. He would be extremely proud of the good work carried out by the foundation and would be honored to be remembered for what he loved best, which was sincere kindness to all people. It's nice, isn't it? It's well written. I don't know. There's a Christmas project fund. There is... I don't know. We've got lots of links to, I think, other companies. I don't know exactly what we are doing here, but there's a home ownership program to help people get like on the ladder to owning a home. There's food drives. There's a back to school backpack giveaway. There's scholarship funds. There's foreign aid. I don't know. Something to do with bulldogs. Don't know. There's a few things that they do. And they've got, I was going to say they got a shop, but it's actually just a link to Pro Wrestling Tees. Link to Pro Wrestling Tees where you can get some sick Owen Hart merch, actually. That is a great shirt. That is a great shirt. They've got some really nice Owen Hart merch. That could be something I could end up doing. Just putting in a big order for Pro Wrestling Tees, getting it delivered to where I'm staying. and not having to worry about paying the shipping costs. Because there's normally some really good stuff at Pro Wrestling Tees, but obviously that's an American company and it, costs a little bit to get it shipped over. Right, back to the action. 25 minutes or so to go, and we are getting Britt Baker about to put her little glove on. She's gloving up. Obviously, that leads to the lockjaw. So she's got the glove on. She's showing the crowd. She's going over to Ruby. Ruby reversing, but Britt catching the leg. Hit coming in by Britt. Britt going against the ropes. Roll up by Ruby. Kick out by Britt. Kick coming in by Britt. Goes against the ropes, and Tony tries to trip Britt over. Slam by Ruby. 1, 2. Tell you what, it was a bit of a nonchalant kind of a kick out. There wasn't really much behind that kick out. Ruby in the corner, going to the outsides. Owens Foundation is about helping people in need, said Suzanne. Worst moment in pay-per-view history, said Zoom Station. What's that? Maggie said it's sad, but it's a loving tribute to her husband. Backslide by Britt to kick out by Ruby. Britt seemingly about to apply the lockjaw by the looks of it. Saraya has popped up. Saraya's got onto the edge of the ring. She's distracting. They're putting the belt in the corner. Britt goes face first into that championship. Kick by Ruby. She's going for the cover. 1, 2. Oh, and a kick out by Ruby. Wow, that felt like that might have been it. She is still in it. They're cheating and double teaming and doing all kinds of things. Crowd are making a bit of noise, though. They're trying to get behind Britt Baker. It looks like Ruby's trying to apply the lockjaw on Britt. She doesn't have a glove on, though. She doesn't even have a glove on. Now she's really pulling. Britt trying to get over to the ropes. She's managed to get her foot on the rope. She rolls over. Now reversing. Looks like she's about to apply the lockjaw. Saraya and Storm are panicking. They don't know what to do. They're trying to grab Ruby's leg and pull her out the ring, and they have. Tony said, this is too much. Super kick there by Britt. Why? I mean, she shouldn't be able to deal with all three of them. The numbers are too great. I agree with that. They should be too great. The ref's useless as well. He hasn't seen a single thing. In the corner goes Ruby. Ruby gets chucked into the corner. Britt is getting Ruby up on her shoulders. Victory roll, but it's Ruby that's getting the cover, and Ruby gets the win. I think that's the right decision. The numbers were just too much. Where's Reba? Do you remember when Reba used to be around? Reba could have dealt with some of these. So Ruby has picked up the win. The poll was really close. Britt was 55%. Ruby was 44%. But it is Ruby that has cheated and stolen that victory. It will not be two-time winner for Britt Baker. We are going to get a brand new winner of this tournament. I think that's the right way forward. Sky Blue. So Sky Blue and Ruby Soho are going to go one-on-one in the semi-final. There's a lot of... There was a lot of that. What happened to Reba? Did they get rid of her because they were paying her to do nothing, said John. I didn't hear that she was released. I think she's still under a contract. Reba, AEW. Rebel, Reba. Signed to AEW. Apparently she's still signed. This was on the 3rd of March. Rebel reportedly no longer being used in wake of Baker and Hayter face turn. They're just not using her anymore. She's just not in the current plans. Rebel originally joined in a backstage role, working on hair and makeup. She ended up being an on-screen role. She's only worked limited matches. It remains to be seen what is next for her, but she is no longer being used with Baker and Hayter. That was back in March. I mean, we haven't seen her in forever. That's a shame. I thought she was pretty fun. She didn't provide loads of extra stuff, but she was, pretty fun. And with Jamie Hayter out the picture, like, you'd think Britt Baker could probably do with some help. Have they even addressed it? The fact that she's just disappeared. I don't even know if they've actually even said anything. It's just gone. Creative has got nothing for you. Just ask Colt Cabana, says Tim. Where is Colt Cabana? Has he gone to Ring of Honor? That's a shame. That is a real shame, isn't it, if you think about it? Because he had done some stuff that was pretty fun. Him with Dark Order was okay. Didn't hate that. It's funny when you think about where we've been. When you think that, like, Colt Cabana was, pretty regular on Dynamite. Jimmy Havoc, do you remember them days? Marco Stunt, of course. Sonny Kiss. Joey Janela. Main event time. So it is Kenny Omega versus Wheeler. Let's go. Not seen Colt Cabana for a while. He hasn't been on AEW or Ring of Honor, says James. Brenton said, best AEW belt design. I think the tag belts are the best, followed by the women's. I like the original old school looking belt, but I do like the women's title. Let's Brenton know, guys, what's your favorite looking AEW championship at the moment? I think their belts are quite good, actually. You don't tend to get, like, really ugly ones like the 24/7 title, Yeah. I mean, I like the tag ones. I think they feel quite 80s, quite retro. I like the... I've always been a fan of the AEW Championship as well. The men's one. I've always thought that's been, like, super detailed. Nice, interesting, like that kind of rectangular main face plates with the little thin side plates as well. Like I think it's just really cool. Here is Kenny. I can't remember the trio. I'm trying to think what the trios look like. I can't quite picture them. I think those ones are probably least impressive. International title, it's okay. TNT title, that sucks, to be honest. I think the TNT title's the worst. Remember, we saw that for a time when it wasn't even finished. TBS is horrible as well. Actually, now think about it, they have got some rubbish belts. Okay, so Kenny is in the ring. And he gets jumped by Wheeler Yuta, and we are underway. So Wheeler Yuta jumping Kenny Omega. And we are up and running with our main events. You have all the wrestlers on the roster, and Wheeler Useless is the main event, said Donald. Well, to be honest, I think it's a showcase for Kenny, isn't it? I'd expect Kenny to win. We're in Canada. Getting a great reaction. I'm guessing this is just like a winnable. They're trying to build up Wheeler Yuta, and I would imagine this will be a bit of a showcase for him, but I would be shocked if Kenny didn't win this. Kenny is all kinds of fired up right now. Okay, shots coming in by Wheeler Yuta. So Kenny was in control momentarily. Big back body drop by Kenny as Wheeler Yuta goes down. Scooping up Wheeler Yuta, looking for a back breaker and shoulder up by Wheeler Yuta. What time are we looking? Oh, we've only got 15 minutes. That probably makes about sense. 1 minute. I was busy during the weekend. What did you rate Money in the Bank? You don't have to give the long explanation. Gave it an 8.75. I was really into it. I thought the crowd were fantastic. I thought the show, I can understand it not being a perfect show. I can understand it not being 10 out of 10. I think that some of the matches, I mean, it's hard to point. I feel like the men's match was good. The ladder match was good. I felt that the main event was really good. Really enjoyed that. But, I mean, like, Seth and Finn was okay. It was fine. But didn't really get above that. Oh, Kenny tried to... See, okay, he's frustrated there. Drop kick by Wheeler Yuta. Kenny frustrated. He tried to plant Yuta down and then kind of flip out of it. But as he did that, I don't know if he just got the timing a little bit wrong. Wheeler Yuta goes through the ropes, but he couldn't flip out of it, and it was a little botch. He was frustrated with it. But that was a nice suicide dive by Wheeler Yuta. He's all kinds of fired up tonight, though, Kenny. Goes into the barricades. Wheeler Yuta grabbing Kenny, hurling him over the other side into the barricade. Wow. Threw him so hard, that's barricade. I mean, I think it is just railings, but they go shoot him back a little. Wheeler Yuta on the outside, looking for a net breaker, and he gets it. Net breaker by Wheeler Yuta. If you are just jumping in and you are just joining us, we have just seen Britt Baker eliminated from the Owen Hart tournament, which feels like it's pretty big news. She was the winner last year. She is out, baby. Kenny is on the outside of the ring. I think this is part of that tournament as well, I think. Trying to get back up to... we've got a lot of tournaments on at the moment. We've got that tag tournament. We've got the Owen Hart tournament. Kenny getting onto the edge of the ring. Shot coming in there by Kenny. We've still got Athena against Willow on Saturday. We've got Ricky Starks against Powerhouse Hobbs on Saturday. CM Punk and Samoa Joe. This can't be part of that tournament, can it? Thinking about it. Those are the two semi-finals. Is this just a lol match? It's just for lols. Elbow to the back of the head there by Wheeler Yuta. And drapes Kenny over the ropes. Britt is someone that could benefit from a jump to WWE. She's stale and stagnant for a long time, says Big Time Baxter. How do you feel about Priest as Mr. Money in the Bank? I really like it. I really like it. There's an image that I keep seeing of Priest, which is of him in his entrance gear. It's got a bit of an Undertaker feel to it. And I just look at it and I think, damn, if he leaves Judgment Day and keeps that entrance gear and we sort of lean into this look a little bit more, this could be really exciting. It could be really exciting. Look at that. Look at that image, man. You're telling me that, like, if we don't go a little darker with Damian Priest, you know, it's a bit Ministry Undertaker, isn't it? Just take his character just a little darker. Have him not be as kind of talkative as what he is. And have him be a bit of like a Punisher, Destroyer. Maybe even have him like give him a mouthpiece, give him a manager, give him someone that can do some talking for him. Sort of feel like he looks like an end boss there. He looks like an end boss. He looks really cool. So I'd be tempted to use that look and that image really in particular to kind of do something with his character. Feels like, I mean, look, we've potentially got 12 months to tweak a few things. I'd take that as inspiration. I'd lean into that kind of darker side a little bit more. There is no Undertaker right now. Of course, we've got Bray, but there is no Bray right now. I sort of feel like he actually put it in. I don't think I would put him with Bray now. I think we're maybe past that, but he could have been put with Bray. He could have been like Bray's Destroyer. He could have been Bray's Punisher. He could have been Bray's Executioner. So if Bray needed something finishing off rather than getting the Fiend, he could get Damian Priest. So I like it. I really like it. I like Damian Priest. I think his loss to Bad Bunny sucked. Really sucked. It's a shame that we had to put that L on him, but it's in the past. Right, we've got a reverse chin lock. Reverse chin lock being applied by Wheeler Yuta. House of Black is the best dark thing in wrestling right now. I don't think it suits WWE anymore, says Gallum. Right, we was at commercial break and we've just come back. Brenton said Reba could be used to come back to help Britt and cause her to turn on Hater. Britt can claim she wasn't there to help her since Hater's injury. You could also have Reba be Britt's lackey again. The Executioner, that was a terrible gimmick that belongs in the 90s, said James. Right, back from commercial break, and we've got Rampage 100 on Friday. Big celebration. Shots coming in by Kenny. Haru Shida against Marina Shafir on Rampage 100. Young Bucks are on it, though, with Adam Page taking on, is that Dark Order in like a trios match? Down goes Wheeler Yuta, Kenny Omega in control. Okay, so Excalibur trying to go through lots of matches that are coming up and where they're happening. We've got things on Rampage, we've got things on Collision, we got things happening on next week's Dynamite. Amanda against Chris Jericho next week. Double axe handles by Kenny. Kick coming in there by Wheeler Yuta. Forearm strike by Kenny. Oof. Bit of a brainbuster type move for Kenny. Wheeler Yuta down to shoulder up by Wheeler Yuta. Kenny is looking for, is it going to be a V-trigger time? It's going against ropes. Wheeler Yuta against the ropes. Oh, misses with it. Bounces off the ropes. Wheeler Yuta. 1, 2, and kick out by Kenny. They're working at quite a pace. So back and forth. Right now it is Wheeler Yuta that is in control. Days, imagine Tony and potentially having to book 3 shows every week, 5 hours of TV, one doing 800,000, the other 2 at 400,000. Headbutts by Kenny. Thanks for the update. What did Mox and Jericho have to say? What did Moxley have to say? I mean, Moxley was just talking about Kingston. He said, answer your phone. Jericho was saying that he felt reinvigorated. And then Don Callis came out and basically said, do you want to join the Don Callis family? And Jericho said, maybe. So a little bit of a cliffhanger on that one. Okay, Wheeler Yuta is down, and it's Kenny now that's in control. He's grabbing Wheeler Yuta. We've only got 4 minutes left of this week's episodes. In fact, probably should put a little poll up, shouldn't I? Pop a little poll up. Pop a little poll. Scores. 8 to 10. 7 to 775. 62675 575. There we go. Bridge kick out. Wheeler Yuta keeping a hold of the waist of Kenny. Another German. He is getting dumped on his head, but he's driving Wheeler Yuta back into the corner. 3 minutes. 3 minutes left to go. Wheeler Yuta trying to fire in a forearm shot there on Kenny. Again, another heavy shot. Big kick by Kenny as Wheeler Yuta goes flying into the corner. Kenny charging over. Back elbow collides into Wheeler Yuta, but Yuta catches him. Brings him into the middle of the ring. Against the ropes goes Wheeler Yuta. Got knee into the back, looking for a Snapdragon, and he hits the Snapdragon. Kenny going over, grabbing Wheeler Yuta. Looking for another Snapdragon, and he hits him with it. Wants one more. Trying for another one, but Wheeler Yuta is battling away here. He rolls up Kenny. 1, 2. Oh, kick out by Kenny. Knee strike, V-trigger. That connects, and surely this is the beginning of the end. He's getting him up. Looks like he's going for the one-winged. He's got him up. Oh, no. Wheeler Yuta reversing. Oh, that's a great pin. Oof, that's a great pin. That's really good stuff by Wheeler Yuta. That pin attempt was awesome. Powerbomb by Kenny. Kenny with a V-trigger. Down goes Wheeler Yuta. 1, 2. Oh, kick out. Wow. The match continues. They've really gone at each other in this main event. Wheeler Yuta is down. He's looking over. I think there's some people coming down to the ring. Don Callis is coming down. Don Callis making his way down to the ring. They're having a word with Don Callis. Takeshita's in the ring. Takeshita. Blue Thunder Bomb. Wheeler Yuta going up. Big splash by Wheeler Yuta. 1, 2. Kick out by Kenny. I don't think there's anything at stake in this match, is there? Apart from maybe a cheeky win bonus. Even with Takeshita delivering a Blue Thunder Bomb, still wasn't enough. Wheeler Yuta on the shoulders. One winged connects. And Kenny picks up the win. Kenny picks up the win. Proud to be a Kenny-adian, the sign in the crowd said. Not a Canadian, a Kenny-adian. Never seen that before. Takeshita and Claudio are attacking Kenny. Tony is telling us that this is terrible. If you wasn't sure, you are now. This is terrible. Here come the Bucks. And Hangman as well. So Hangman and the Bucks have come down. We've got a big brawl. How was that not a DQ? The ref literally saw Takeshita. Perhaps he doesn't like Kenny. Doesn't like Kenny. We've got the little... Oh, now Dark Order have come down. They take the chair away. We've got the All Rights reserved in the corner. Bit of bickering. A lot of moving parts, isn't there? You got Dark Order, you got Blackpool Combat Club, got the Elites. This person's brawling with that person. This person's fighting that person. Hangman jumps up in the corner. Uh, 5-0. What a predictable show. This would never have happened in insert favorite wrestling show. Has the show gone off the air? I mean, I've still got the show and we're 3 minutes over. Cowboy Shiz is the chance. I don't know if you guys are still with it or I'm guessing you're not. But right now we've got Hangman in the ring. He's going over to Kenny. Takeshita's on the outside. Crowd are chanting the Elites. The action is continuing here at the moment. This is what we've got. I don't think this is being shown on TV. I'm guessing you lot have ended your coverage. Right now we are just seeing the crowd. This is the great thing about fights. I mean, not that we're really seeing anything that exciting, to be honest. Boo! End of broadcast. Still hear it, though. No more signal from venue. Right, there we go. Blaze said it ended when the Dark Order came out. Dark Order was involved, yeah. Dark Order came down. They didn't really do much. Hangman was just going to use a chair. Dark Order came down and took the chair off him. He then sort of looked at them a bit weird. Then they jumped out the ring. And basically, they just stood over Kenny. Kenny was down. He'd been jumped. So they just made sure no one got to Kenny, basically. So, yeah, there wasn't anything to it. I voted too soon, said Brenton. 625 instead of a 7. This turned unnecessary fast. Dark Order came in and took Paige's chair. Then they buggered off. I think you've summed it up really well, actually. That's exactly what happened. They came in, took his chair, they buggered off. Can you believe it? Came in, took his chair, buggered off. Good show, but just a typical way overbooked ending, says James. Another MJF bromance storyline. How original, says LB. When was the last time the Dark Order won anything, says Maggie. Good question. I don't know. I didn't even know they were still a thing. Because they've lost a few members, haven't they? So I didn't even know what was happening with them. One of them, isn't one of them Alex Reynolds or something? He's off with a different group now. And we lost 10. He went as well, didn't he? So I didn't even know what the current state of the Dark Order was. But apparently it is still a thing. I remember the good days when WWE used to know how to wrap up a show, said Zoom Station. Travis said, sadly, MJF couldn't save this dumpster fire. Yuta broke his knee, Omega hand crushed hanging off there. Hang on, Omega's hand crushed hanging off the bone, said Deadpool. Who got a pair of boots so I can join the fight and get my hands on Callus, says Mr. Tahil fan. Mitchell said, what's your final score? I'm at 675, 725. The ending wasn't great. Still a fun show. Probably a 675. I think it just dipped a touch for me. Everything was pretty good. Ending wasn't great. Parts of Brit Ruby was all right. It was an all right match. I don't think it was anything that mind-blowing. But yeah, probably about a 675. It was pretty solid. It's pretty solid. I didn't feel bored. I didn't feel like I was wasting my time. I didn't feel disappointed. I haven't come away thinking that was a waste. Something fun to watch on a Wednesday night. Have a chat with you guys. It was fine. Zoom Station said, I forgot Dark Order until they came out of catering. Michael said 6.5. I think that's fair. Big Time said 6. Anthony said 7.5. Could have been a little better. Shaquem with a 5, though. Shaquem didn't enjoy it. Tahil with a 7. Shaquem said it was okay. I'm a little surprised there's been no Brett appearance with the whole Canadian stretch, says LB. Days was 7 hours away from the third Ashes test. Oh, Adam, I'm so excited. England have got to win this one. So far, England have played 2, lost 2, and they've been close. But we've got to win this one. Drama. Lance said, all things considered, Sting's table jump botch was hilarious. Maggie says, night. Big Time said, are we just getting through a period again until Wembley? I don't know. I think that this some of those shows where we were just getting through, I would really struggle to say that we had anything good happening. But I think Adam Cole MJF is pretty fun. That's worth tuning in for. Not to everybody's taste, but I think there was some fun stuff in there. I like the fact they did an on-location thing at the gym. I also thought it was really good to see Swerve and Keith together again. I really enjoyed that. Problem is they lost, so that's done now, which is such a shame because I really like those two together. We've got an Owen Hart tournament going on. We've got this tag tournament going on, so I feel like there are things happening. I don't know that we're necessarily pulling up trees. I don't think we're really doing anything that's gonna, I ain't expecting this to get 1 million. I don't know that there's anything here that's really gonna shake things up, So in that regard, I would say, yeah, I think we are just kind of bobbing along. But in regards to there being things on the show that's actually worth tuning in for, I think there is some stuff here. I don't feel like this is just completely flat or there's no creativity at all. I feel like there is some stuff going on. And to be honest, there were some shows earlier this year where I was really struggling to find anything. So I'd say that this was all right. It was all right. So good. Kieran said England women are in Australia now, nearly there. Come on. Brett has repeatedly said because of his WWE deal, he cannot appear on AEW, said Jim. Jim, hope you are well. Fun show with some solid matches. I love where we're going with MJF Adam Cole. That was solid. Serviceable Dynamite. No outstanding headlines. I agree. Days, I was surprised when we saw the team Anderson, Tongue, Pope out, Ali, Woods, Wokes in. Well, to be honest, I've been waiting for Anderson to get dropped. He hasn't done anything in this series, and he is clearly not a batter. So he's had 2 goes with the ball. 4, if you count the 4 innings. And I can't say he's done much. I know that he is someone that can create those moments of magic, but I don't know. We can't afford to just keep drifting. You've got to be performing. So they've rested him. And I've got to be honest, I would have rested him as well. Pope was out with injury, of course. So Pope was a forced change. Tongue, I thought was a bit surprising because Tongue actually had a bit of batting to him, didn't he? In the last innings that we had the other day. There was a bit of batting there, and I think he's picked up a few wickets as well. So Tongue was the surprise for me. I thought we would keep Tongue. Bring in maybe Ali as the spinner, and bring in... I don't know if you bring... Well, Mark Woods. Mark Woods got pace, hasn't he? He's got speed. To be honest, they're probably looking at Wokes, and they're just thinking, well, quite fancy Wokes. Wokes, Tongue, you could make that change. So, yeah, the one that surprised me was Tongue dropping out, to be honest. Pope was a forced change, and Anderson, I would have done the same. There was calls to bring in Folks, have him as the wicket keeper, and move Bairstow up the order, which would have been all right. I would have been down for that as well. But Mark Wood gives you that pace, and we haven't used him the whole series, so... Oh, God, I'm so excited. So excited for the cricket. I'm so English, and I love it. Stu Grayson is the one that's with the other group. Lindsay, thank you. I would have kept Tongue, and I would have dropped Ollie Robinson. Big Time said, Ryback claimed, even though he's got 1.3 million followers, he believes he's only getting 10 to 40 likes a tweet because WWE is suppressing his account. LB said, I'm glad Keith Lee stopped dyeing his hair and has gone back to its natural colour. Yeah, he was dyeing it grey a lot, wasn't he? I do that, in all fairness. I have been thinking of maybe going back to my natural colour, but I completely agree. Retribution said, I love cricket, but Ashes is overhyped snooze fest. I mean, I I could not disagree more. Could not disagree more. I don't know how you could watch the Stokes' innings as he's just smashing it around. What happened with Bairstow? What happened with Stokes? Like all that drama. England ticking down. They needed 70-odd runs to win. And then obviously like Stokes getting out. And then it's like, can the tail do it? And the tail, oh my God, so good. So good. I love it. But that's no secret, is it? I mean, I went to watch it, and even when I went to London last week, I swung by Lords just so I could get the feel of the atmosphere. I'd love to be at Headingley. It's in Leeds, isn't it? I'd love to be in Headingley. Who knows if it goes to a 5th day? I might be there. Retribution said it does offer occasional moments of brilliance, but largely it's very boring. Each to their own, my friends. Each to their own. I can sit and watch all day, all 5 days, and be just absolutely in my element. I think like it's so important that like any ball can result in someone getting out. So you're constantly looking at the score, and you're constantly like, we need to get another 30 runs here with this partnership. We need to get another 30 runs. And like, you know, they're bowling the ball, and like any ball someone could be out, but any ball someone could hit a 6. I always find myself just constantly like, there can be, I will agree, there can be some passages where nothing has happened for a while. And you're like, come on, guys, we need to shake this up a little bit. But I just find myself always analysing and reassessing the game and thinking about, right, where is it? Where do we need to be by lunch? Where do we need to be by tea? Where do we need to be by tonight? I'm just constantly like thinking along those lines. So even when it's like quiet, I still can find plenty in the game to be like, okay, another 20 today. You've got an hour. Lights looking pretty bad. I just get really involved. I think if it does draw you in to that extent, like you can just really get lost in it. I can't wait. I will be watching it on TV. I know what you're saying. I know where you're coming from, says Retribution. Yeah, I can. I mean, like, I can understand why people wouldn't want to do that and sit and watch 5 days of like the same game. It's a very cricket thing, isn't it? I don't know of any other games that take 5 days to complete, but it's just constantly changing and swinging back and forth, and sometimes like. You can, I mean, like at day 1 of the last test, I was like, we're done. We're dead. We're dead. They've killed us. They've gone and got 400 odd. And like, they've killed us. And then England come back, and I think England did rubbish. So I was like, we really are dead. And then all of a sudden, England started coming back, and you're like, hang on, we're not dead. And it's like, oh, and then Stokes is smacking it for 6s and all this kind of stuff. Oh, God, just can't get enough, man. Can't get enough. Right. Well, anyway, we're not going to talk about cricket. We're actually going to wrap things up. So let's have a look at the score. See where we are with the score. We have got 7 to 775, 38%, 8 to 10, 31%, 6 to 675, 20%, 575 or below, 9%. There we go. There we go. So we are done. Thanks a lot for joining us. Another episode of Dynamite is in the bag. I have got quite the jobs list to work my way through of bits that I need to do. So I'm going to go off and get started on that. So appreciate the support as always. And I will see you on Friday for SmackDown. Come on, England!